right, everybody, welcome into this edition of the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're here on our Sunday tradition. We're getting back to it. We've had a couple of weeks where I haven't been here or someone hadn't been here. One, the fact that I've just been tired. Just tired. But outside of that, we've been here and hitting the show. And by the way, just to let everybody know, kind of how we do things on the Couch Potato Sports Show. I just say, don't worry about getting to the show. Take care of family business first. Or if you got something else that you're doing, do that. Don't worry about it. Your spot's always here. And so that's how we do, people being on the show. And so it's something that works and has always worked for us. And you never know who will show up. I don't know. I just see that face. That face alone is worth watching this thing, Well, my man, how you doing? It is the Podfather Trey Mack. Good morning, man.
No, I'm not suspended from this show, am I? Because,
I don't know. Are you?
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you are. I don't know. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. Good to see you, my friend. I heard you were busy last night.
Well, serving my suspension at SOAR because I'm not allowed to be at the ringside with my guys. Mm-hmm. I was able to, go back to what I did before, which is sound, which,
Oh, boy, I bet you were excited.
Oh, no one does it better than I do. That's for damn sure.
Well, okay. I thought it that way. Okay,
cool. I have my way. And since I couldn't perform as a manager, I was able to get into it with the ring announcer a little bit, and because as he walks through the ring like a mortician, he sounds like a Muppet from Sesame Street. I'm like, really, that's the best you can do, really?
Is that the guy from SOAR Mania 3, or is it a different dude?
Yeah, the same guy. Oh no, it's a different guy.
Okay, because I thought the guy at SOAR Mania 3, I thought he did, fairly entertaining.
I mean, at least he acknowledged me, which was nice. Yeah, you didn't get that very often, but when after I had to stand up and say, "Hey, what about me?" I mean, I'm sitting here with a legendary Rob.
All about you, Trey. It's all about you.
You acknowledge Rob Moore. What about me? I mean, what am I, chopped liver here?
No, you're spoiled. The spoiled liver.
Whatever. But I got on the phone this morning with my lawyers to help get the suspension lifted because I know they don't work Sundays, but I was like, guys, you got to get the Podfather a bone here because this is ridiculous. And apparently last night, Nate Vaughn, of all people, decided to get into the network's business, and he's like trying to recruit one of my guys. And I'm like, stay in your lane, pal. This is not
Nate Vaughn trying to get your stuff.
It's just a damn sports agent, and sports agents, sometimes they're almost as bad as the performers themselves because they're like little snakes, little weasels. I mean, I might be a weasel in some aspect, but at least I'm a good weasel. I'm a guy that you can rely on.
Wait. How did
I show up here tonight?
What the hell are you talking about?
Did I show up here tonight? Did I contact you and say, hey, you got room for the Podfather? You said, sure, I guess. So here I am. So, I could be trusted. Whereas a sports agent, not so much because all they're worrying about is themselves. I've seen Jeremy Maguire. It's all about showing me the money. So who cares about that? So he'll get his due in due time. So we'll see.
Wait. Are you saying he's more of a weasel than you are? Is that what you're? Maybe I'm missing something.
Come on. I don't pretend to represent people. I grew a group that all became champions. Now this guy wants to take one of my champions away from me. He can't get any. Now, yeah, D'Anthony Price does have a championship. I
was going to say, I thought he had a championship.
Yeah, but now he needs someone to help him keep that title because he has no one else. Because he's not going to chase Jay Sosay to do it because Jay Sosay and D'Anthony Price
they don't get along no more.
That's all in water right there.
Although I love the big main, not
I
the
know you
man,
do.
the big
I know
main,
you do. I know. Yeah,
MAIN.
yeah,
He
yeah.
is the main event, baby. I'm
By
telling
the
you.
way, I went back and watched some of the World commentary stuff. The one that
Uh huh.
the one that you had mentioned last time you and I talked about the Rob Risen, Dean Fleming, 3 stages of hell
Yeah,
match.
wasn't that a great match? God, I love it.
God, it sounded so good back then. I'm so glad I carried your ass through the entire match because you kept
Well, you
laughing.
carried me through the first part of the three, and
God,
I
you would not
appreciate
shut up
that.
from laughing. Golly.
Hey,
But
hey, read the cup. I'd agree with you,
I can't read
but
the code. I can't read it. It kind
I
of
know it's not.
materializes. So.
There it goes. I agree. I would agree with you, but we'd both be wrong.
All right. Well, by the way, the last time I went on your show, I threw this out there as a share, and people were contacting me saying, "No, we can see you perfectly. What's going on with your partner? Why does he keep beaming to another planet?" I'm like, it's screen magic. It's all it
No,
is.
no, I'm lazy. I
We
would
know
put the
that.
green screen up behind me. I just didn't want to do it. I just
Why?
and believe me, it
Why
takes
can't
10
you be
seconds.
professional,
And
sir? Why can't you be
just
professional? 10 seconds to be professional, just one time.
well, I did it for many, many years, and I just I've been lazy as of late. I mean,
Well,
it's
I
just
can tell.
green
You can tell.
screen.
I've seen the beard. I saw you with the Santa hat. Is
Hey,
this like you only want to work one day a year now? What the hell?
I'm gonna be Santa, man. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be Santa.
Are you gonna say
One,
ho ho or hey? Hey?
I already got one booking, so there you go.
Are you gonna say ho 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 or hey hey hey?
Well, of course I'm gonna be a ho ho ho. I
Well, we
mean,
know
what?
you're a ho ho, but I'm saying you're gonna say it because like you're like hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everybody. I can see you doing that more than just ho ho ho. You don't have the deep enough voice for Santa. Santa's a ho 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 ho. I don't see you
Okay.
pulling that off. But then
Yeah.
again, hey,
Don't no.
then
No.
again, I
No.
didn't see Anthony Price becoming champion either, and here he is. So I guess
Hey, hey,
you
there.
get what you
Well,
get.
there you go. There you Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know. So, good night for you guys, though, in the network. Everything go well.
We won. Eliza had a triple threat match. He made both guys submit at the same time, which is
Wow.
amazing. Didn't need my help clearly because I couldn't go out there. Um, you know, there might be a little friction with the playmakers, but look, I get where Gabe's coming from. He's a big guy. He wants to do big man things, right? And
Yeah.
Chris, Chris is Chris.
He's
But at the
gonna
same time, they're
follow.
also a tag team. Here's the thing: they're a tag team, they're a group, they're a unit. I saw Gabe walk off from Chris last night, but they're still champions. So, however Gabe wants to decide his life here, that's going to be on him. And let's face it, don't think I ain't watching. Do not think I'm not watching at all here, because when Nate turned to me and told me that he just pushed me out of the lane or whatever the hell he just said about that, I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on here, big guy, because
Hmm.
you know, no,
Would that be a coup if he grabbed up Gabe from you? With that, I mean, that'd be a
well,
coup.
honestly, I'm the podfather, right? I got here because I had a podcast and I reached out to everybody outside, the independent wrestling scene. And I've had people from Washington State, New York City, Florida, overseas. Everybody contact the Podfather. Hell, I got a message from Anthony Anderson and Kevin Sullivan recently. They want to be on my show. Okay, so no, serious. And
Kevin Sullivan, right? Like he
yeah.
don't have he don't have anything better to do but go
Well,
on your
well,
show.
Anthony Anderson reached out to me, and him and Kevin are pretty tight.
It's like,
And
yeah.
yeah, and so wherever one goes, the other one kind of follows. And he said he would listen to him. He watched the show. He really likes what we do. He wants to see if he can bring him and Kevin on there. And I'm like, that'd be great. So we'll see what happens. That's all in the beginning stages. But once again, my arm out there to the independent scene is a lot wider than Sword Championship Wrestling. Okay,
Mm.
I've worked in 7 different promotions in DFW. I have interviewed the Von Erichs. I've interviewed former NWA heavyweight champions. I've interviewed guys from overseas like Tenzay, who was NWA champion at the time. So my reach is a little bit further out than Sword Championship Wrestling or Bumps and Bruises for that matter. So we'll see what happens. Once again, if you test my hand, I will have to play it. That's just life.
There you go. So So Soar thinks that you had something to do with some of the folks that didn't make it to Soar Mania 3. So is that the gist of what's going on here?
Yes, I mean, look, here's the thing. It's not. Is it a
You were talking
coincidence?
about the reach. You were talking about your
Well,
reach. So is that what
okay.
the you know?
No. I mean, listen. I wanted to see how the playmakers are going to take on the Hate Brothers. I wanted to see Elijah finally put Luke Justice to sleep, which he did last night. I didn't want to take that away from my guys. So the fact that both of our opponents could not show up to Soar Mania 3 on one particular day, I'm sure Soar looks at that and goes, well, it's kind of strange, and you are the Podfather, so I don't know.
You do got that reach.
But look, I'm all about fair competition. I'm all about
Okay.
bringing the best talent here to showcase my talent, to showcase what my guys can do against a better talent out there. I don't take anybody's job away from them. So if they don't want to show up. They don't want to show up. That's on them. And I even saw Luke Justice, and he sat there, started saying, "Yeah, I knew it was you. I knew it was you." I'm like, "What? That you can't get in your car and drive? You can't get an Uber? You can't do nothing to get your ass from Arkansas to here? I mean, hell, just walk. I mean, you'll be there." And
Don't people, get together and drive, like
I
we
would
did?
think. I mean, it's not my fault. He don't have any friends. Is it my fault he don't have any friends? Is it my fault that he can't reach out to people?
Well, hold on. Are we friends? I mean, you drove me around, or were you my chauffeur? Were you my friend? What were you, or dude?
Listen. I can show you a really nice acquaintance, okay? But
yeah,
that's
okay.
about as far as I go.
All right, nice acquaintance. Hey, at least I'm okay. I'll accept that.
I mean, yeah, there are times I have to roll my eyes and go,
"Oh God, he's talking again."
Like, dude, he's calling wrestling matches like a football game. Don't do that.
Can't help it. Can't help it.
I know.
It comes from the heart, baby. It comes from the heart. Which, by the way, everybody, just in case, because our show is here, we are going to be covering yet again the Saxy Mustangs for the 2013 season. I'm excited about that. Just got the the final okay. We had to jump through a little hoops to get it, but we finally got that. So we're all set and we're all ready to go as far as next year. As far as the Saxon Mustangs, we'll be bringing you that first game against the Coppell Cowboys and then the Prosper Eagles. We'll be traveling to both of those. And by the way, two newer stadiums. Coppell's a little bit older, but it's really a nice stadium and they do really good for the broadcasters. But the Prosper, where Prosper plays, that building's like maybe 3 years old. We opened that one when we were doing the Rowlett Eagles. We did their first game right there at Prosper, so that was pretty exciting for us.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
When you go to the other stadiums, and do they bring in catered food, or do you have to get your own shit?
Sometimes they bring. It depends on where you're at, but I'd say a good 90% they bring food, and a lot of times they're trying to tell us to take it when we leave.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, shout out to the kid who came up to me at Soar Mania at Soar Championship Wrestling last night and brought me a thing of French fries. Thank you, sir.
Oh, a thing of French fries.
Yeah, because he says, well, they didn't have any nachos, so I got you this. I'm like, okay, I guess that'll work. So, good for him.
I'm surprised he didn't get on his ass for not bringing you a hot dog instead of fries. I'm surprised you didn't turn to him and say, you cheap SOB, where's my hot dog? That's what I expect from Judge.
Well, I'm not saying I didn't say that.
Okay, all right.
But I will give credits too, because, I'm a nice guy. That
you are? I didn't know that.
He saw the suspended Podfather sitting over there doing music, not being in his element, because this is like 3 years ago for me, really.
Poor guy.
And for him to do that for me, that was so sweet and so nice. Next time I can go for a couple hot dogs. Really, I mean, look, the Nathan hot dog eating contest in a couple days. And Joey Chestnut. And
oh, that's right, July 4th. That dude's been he's won like 4 years in a row.
He didn't win last year though.
Oh, he didn't. I thought he did.
No, because I think he only ate like he was like 13 off the pace or something like that, which is weird to think of hot dogs.
I would not want to live with that guy or any of those participants for 3 days after that is done.
Listen, the closest I've ever done anything like this was a steak eating contest over in
I know.
Emerald.
I watched it.
In the Big Texan. And let me tell you something. That is the best steak I've ever had until about the halfway point. So it was just ate all my sides, ate half my steak, and then at that point, people were walking by the table going, "You got this, you got this." And I'm like,
"No, I don't." I've never done anything like that. I'm a big guy, and of course, but I've no. But I've never done.
Don't
I've
say
never
you're so
done
short, sir.
something
You are
like
a huge
that.
guy. Okay,
I
huge guy.
Yeah, my size is H. For humongous, but it is what it is. But yeah. That being said, of course, I've never done anything like that. And here's the thing: I've never had the desire. My brother wanted me to go to Vegas and do the heart attack hot hamburger thing or whatever the hell that is. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be able to touch a third of that. I mean, I eat a lot. I don't eat a lot in one sitting.
What a fucking amateur you are, sir.
I am. I'm full amateur. Now I can drink a lot, but
that's probably not a good thing.
No, it's not. That's why I don't do it unless I'm in Vegas.
Listen, I've done drunk Trey on my podcast before, and it's not fun to have five other guys sit there and laugh at your ass. So.
I need to find that one for some entertainment.
It was a week that the Cowboys played the Titans, because I had the game on TV while we were recording, and I was like, okay, every time the Titans score or whatever, I'll take a shot. Well, the Titans weren't scoring. The Titans weren't scoring anything that day, so I just like, fuck it, I'll just start drinking. And next thing I know, I clear half the bottle of Crown Royal Apple, and I'm like going like this. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in to Source Answer Wrestling. Where am I at? On the Ouches. Okay. Thanks for tuning in Ouches today. I mean, I'm drunk right now. I don't know. But, look, at the end of the day, if you do that in the confines of your own home, there's no worries about that. But when you're out in public doing that crap, which I see a lot in my shoe job, it's it's staggering to watch how it's amazing how you see a 45-year-old man turn to a 4-year-old just like that. It's amazing.
That's what Vegas does to you, man.
Especially when they start losing money. They're going, man, I spent $10,000 here or something. Like, you want a hug? I mean, what the hell?
I can't go to Vegas anymore. It's just too expensive. It used to be the place to go. I'll just say around the 2000, 2005 time. I used to go there, spend $300 on a weekend.
Have you been to Choctaw?
Who?
Choctaw Casino in Durham.
No, I only went up there for a concert. I went up and seen.
You need to go up there and see their sports lounge they got going on up there. It is fantastic.
Well, I hear it's the biggest casino in the world. I mean, right?
Well, no. WinStar is the biggest casino. WinStar is the biggest casino ever in a tent. And it grew up. But I mean, generally that's what it is. But then they expanded that to another end of the building where it's all a hard structure. Now they've added another a new event center, which is going to hold 6,900 people, and that's on the other side of the hotel, and that's going to create more people over there.
What are they going to do with the old venue? I mean,
the old venue became the Rome expansion. So basically, they put slot machines in there, right? And it's a non-smoking area. So if you're a non-smoker, and of course WinStar is full of smoking areas, if you go in that area, you can't smoke in there at all. There's also a barbecue place in there called the Neon Pig, which is okay. It's a little pricey, but then it's also inside of a casino, so you expect that. They got a little lounge called the Hudson Lounge, which is nice. So if you want to sit there and have a drink and just take your time, do that there as well. But it's a really nice how they did it. I don't particularly like it personally because it just brings in more idiots, even though they don't smoke, they're still idiots. So and trying to keep them from
doing stupid things,
doing bad things at bad times. You're like, it's going to happen everywhere else in this place. So, and by the way, this weekend, these next couple of days, it's going to be hell. Because
holiday weekend, baby.
Something about fireworks makes people want to go, let's go get stupid. So,
well, there you go. Hey, guess what? There's someone in the green room. I call him the young sensation. This guy knows his sports better than me. quite embarrassing to even admit that, but it is true. There, come on, there he is. There he is, looking all dapper. I saw you at the game last night. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Great to see you too. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm a little bit older, and I stayed up a little too late, and I woke up too early, so I'm a little weary. But hey, we're here on the show, so it's just like, and you're fashionably late. You're turning into Cuervo. I like it. So, what a game last night! What a game. Hard hitting, man. I had a couple of them in my lap right there in the front row. And man, oh man, was that. But the Sioux Falls Storm don't look like the Sioux Falls Storm in the past, do they? They just look beat up and wore out and like they're just disinterested.
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback play last night was horrible. You can blame everything else, but you gotta single out quarterback. They benched their starter. They took the bench off. The bench didn't do good. If you're gonna, here's something else I noticed. If you're gonna be a scrambling quarterback, you're trying to figure out how to put this. One thing is, if you're gonna scramble out as a quarterback, don't be scared to run. Yards. Their receivers.
They picked up Brandon Shepard, which was a very good idea. The guy's a stud. The only problem is if you can't even throw the football to him, he's almost useless as a turd in a swimming pool. It's horrible.
Yeah, I agree, but the DBs were getting torched all night.
Second play of the game, he got torched, and then the fourth offensive play, they got torched. They were like 35 and 45-yard bombs for touchdowns. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you might have good coverage, but you got to get there to the receiver. I mean, silly. It was just because we were getting all those catches all night. I mean, all we were doing was just simply looking for the ball. The DB was kind of letting it, just slide in there. I mean, it was easy catch for however many yards it was. I mean, they weren't ready last night. I will say, I don't think they were ready.
You're right. They were not ready. It's Sioux Falls. And listen, that's so outside of what the Sioux Falls Storm are. I mean, if you look at the decorated history of that football team, you would have thought that was a different football team in different uniform. They were not prepared. They were not playing well. And I'm just going to say it because I don't care. Curtis Riggs not being the offensive coordinator and letting his son do it, that's a big mistake because just to put it out there, I got into his head. He was standing in front of me and I just tore into him and just as he was calling the play, I said, don't worry about the pass. The guy can't throw the ball. And he got into his head. Next play, he calls a pass play. And I said, now he's right here, so he's going to try to pass it. So watch that. And I just got into this guy's head. When you got a guy that will let a big fat guy like me get on their behinds and get in your head and affect what you do, you shouldn't be out on the football field. Curtis Riggs needs to be out on the football field calling those plays instead of his son.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I genuinely didn't even know who it was, like who their OC was. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was like, dang, he's young. And I was thinking,
young.
I was thinking, I was thinking he was going to be good. But, I mean, because
I was expecting a better game.
Yeah, because they tied it up 7-7 early. And then, going into half, it was like 35-7. And then,
they won by 6 touchdowns. I mean, my gosh, I mean that's an ass kicking that's hard to get over. And their run for the playoffs, they're going to have to work a little bit harder for it. They had a chance. If they won last night, they would have been in a good position to make the playoffs. Now they're going to have to fight a little bit back. I think they need to win 2 of the last 3, and I don't know if they're going to be that football team that I saw. Depending on who they're playing, they're not going to beat too many football teams out there, so they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there are a couple teams that they could play. If you think just record-wise, they could play Tulsa. I think Tulsa, kind of like what we saw with Bay Area last year. Bay Area was not a good football team, Well, last year was their first year, if I'm not mistaken.
It was their first year.
Yeah, and I mean, same thing with Tulsa. Who knows? Because, Bay Area, they picked up, oh crap, I can't think of his name. Justin Rankin.
Oh
Picked
yeah,
up,
Rankin is a bad man.
yeah, but I mean, we got Meatball now. We ain't gotta worry. We got Meatball. That's all we need. We only need Meatball. But Tulsa, if they pick up, maybe a good player, kind of like Bay Area did, just to turn their team around. I mean, what are they right now? 1-10, 1-11.
Tulsa right now. Tulsa is 1-13. Yes.
Jesus. Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly. And the Storm right now 7-6. They're right now in 4th place. They're just hanging right now. They are just hanging. So they're in that. And then Frisco's on top. They've already clinched the playoff spot. Massachusetts behind them 9-3. Quad City, oh God, I hate that football team. 8-5, and then Sioux Falls is 7-6. But man, the way they lost that game, it's one thing to lose, but man, when you just get it handed to you, and at this vital time of the season, you can't have a mental drop off like the Sioux Falls Storm had last night. So that being said, they got Iowa and the Pirates the last 2 weeks of the season. So it's going to be at Iowa. That's a winnable game for them. But the game that's most important for them is going to be the Massachusetts Pirates. So that's where they're at and what they got to do as far as that is concerned. Now, when you look at Frisco, they have clinched it out with a great record. They got one more week at Iowa, and then they. I don't know if I can't remember if the IFL has a bye or not. I can't remember. So, but looking pretty good in the IFL. So, man, Trey, next time we should get you over there to an IFL football game. Have you come on down because it's a load of fun. I mean,
I'm just waiting for you. I've never invited any of your things, so don't know
why.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Well, we'll see about getting because I'm not.
I'm still worried that Z's going to hit you with a tortilla. So I mean, I'm kind of.
Well, speaking of tortillas, they have a tortilla throw.
Yeah. I'll find my way to get into that, and I'll just randomly act like I tripped. Somehow get over to the stands, just randomly be like,
back him over.
Boom.
So they have a tortilla. That's funny. They have a tortilla. What do they call those things in between?
They call that a tortilla toss, but then they have their halftime. I don't know which one to call them. Maybe ceremonies. I don't know.
Timeout. Entertainment is kind of what they do. It's kind of cool.
Hey, Sonny, real quickly, have you seen the big layoff thing that ESPN's been going through?
I did see that. I've seen a lot of them.
I'm just now seeing the names on this thing.
Max Kellerman is gone. Yeah, Max Kellerman,
Keyshawn Johnson, Susie Colbert, Matt Hasselbeck, Steve Young.
Yep.
Todd McShay. I mean, wow.
See, this is what happens when you sell out to a sellout. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is the reason why these guys are losing their jobs. Guy gets paid $20 million a year to do what he does, and everybody else is on the with all due respect, if you can demand it, you can get it. That's what I say.
The other thing. Unfortunately, as much as I don't like, it's funny. I have a love-hate relationship with him, and I hate that he bags on the Cowboys and that's all he talks about. But to his credit, he delivers. And I mean, he gets ratings, and
Well, the thing about the Cowboys, though, I think that's more fun in reality than really being on them. I mean, that's just one of his entertainment, I guess hypes, if that's what you want to call it. So,
so Sonny, what the hell are you doing that we're not seeing?
I'm putting up the green screen because I'm tired. I'm getting tired of seeing me as a ghost. So I'm taking a second and putting up the green screen and then setting it up.
See, isn't it kind of weird to watch him call this show and all of a sudden disappear for 5 seconds? And I mean,
what happens when you have control of everything.
See, he's not a pro like you and I. Okay, you and I, we don't have.
Is that what it is? A pro is
behind us, right? I mean, clearly, I'm not going to disappear anytime soon until I have to.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. 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 So hey, I'm back. Oh, turn that thing. Yeah. So that way, there we go, and there we go.
Wow, you got.
So there we go. Hey, it's. Oh, I know why that's not
You can raise your
working.
camera up a little bit, sir, because
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah,
head.
I got it. Bang! There we go. This is more like it. So there we go. Bang!
You know, we do
Which
this
is the
before
norm.
your show. Just to show everybody that you're a pro. See, once again, me and Z, we came prepared, right, Z?
Hey,
we got this.
Hey, no ghost. I'm here.
So. I do better with a ghost. I do better when you disappear.
We actually got to see you now. Anyway, but yes, I did see that. I don't know about what's going. Well, no, I kind of know what's going on. It's a budget thing. Everything at ESPN, and they're going to be doing. They're losing a lot of guys, and here's the thing. Now, the bad of that is guys that have been doing this for a long time losing their job. The good of it is that now they're going to fill those spaces with less paid guys, and they're going to get an opportunity to maybe show what they got.
Honestly, ESPN needs to show sports. That's all you got to do, because they're a sports station, right? And there are things that are pre-taped or whatever. You can throw them on there and just to kind of fill time. It's cheaper that way.
You think they're going to take First Take off the air? I mean, come on, that's their money.
Not the only show there. I mean, but the thing is,
that's true.
I mean, if it's if it's getting you money, getting you the revenue you want, they're not going to take that away. But to take Steve Young away from the Monday night deal or whatever he was doing, and I mean, granted, he's not going to be Aikman and Joe Buck, but at the same time, he's kind of irrelevant being a sideline guy or a pre-show guy when you don't need to have 5 to 6 guys there. I mean, Fox has got to figure out for a long time. They got their basic 4. Then they'll add one guy throughout the year. But I mean, or if Jimmy Johnson's not there, they'll Skype him in and then go from there. So, I mean, look,
I think there's going to be a lot of changes, and it's all about the money in reality, just to save money because they're paying big bucks. But speaking of ESPN, last week I watched qualifying of Wimbledon. So I'm telling you right now, it was awesome. I mean, now we don't talk tennis on this normally, but every July Wimbledon, and then August. Right, yeah, it's not sports or recreation, but and then so we got July and then August for the U.S. Open. Those are big ones. Well, I watch all of them because ESPN now covers it, but we don't do a lot. No one cares. So, but
I was going to ask: is Wimbledon not an HBO thing anymore?
I don't think they. Well, they were on HBO, but no, ESPN's been covering them a lot, and they switch every 3 years. They pop around to different networks, but ESPN, I think, has it now. So with the ESPN Plus, you can, if you're a Wimbledon person, starting Monday, man, it's going to be all over the place because you got ESPN Plus, and then the other ESPNs that you'll be able to see it. So if you're a tennis fan, this is the time to watch, and you get to know some of these young guys. See, over the years, I mean, I go back to Borg and McEnroe, the big time thing there, and getting to know kids that are just only a few years older than Z out there, popping these tennis balls all over the place with some accuracy, athleticism, passion, love of the sport. I'm all digged into it.
By the way, Z, you got a kick-ass chair there behind you. What kind of chair is that?
It's what is this? It's an S Racer. I got it in I got it Christmas 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a game. Is that a gaming chair? Is that what it is?
Okay. Yeah, it's a gaming chair. Yeah.
Do they make one for big fat guys like me?
I have no idea. I got it for Christmas.
Write a letter to say, hey, Santa's right there. Okay, put the hat on, Sonny.
Hey man, talk to me.
Write a letter to Santa. Say,
this Santa needs to know where to get this stuff.
Tell Santa that your good friend Trey needs a better chair. Okay, because I mean, I'm getting older, and I'm getting a little decrepit right now, so I can use a really nice chair. Okay.
Old and decrepit. Listen to you. Oh yeah. I'm the only. I think I've been the oldest person on this show ever.
This
It's
show's
so
too
fun.
early. I mean, it's. I
Yeah.
mean, look at
Although
you.
we've had, you remember Randy Galloway? We've had him on our show
All right,
many times.
that's
Oh,
cool.
I love Randy Galloway. Is to Dallas sports is to Troy Aikman is to the Dallas
All right.
Cowboys. I mean, he is just. And
Well,
I've stolen his lines over the years, and
see, I go so far as to say he's the Tom Landry of Dallas sports.
that good point.
And,
Yes.
and,
Not
and I
only
mean,
that,
now the ticket came in, and they revamped sports talk radio for a while. So clearly, and they beat Galloway too in the process. But at the same time, I got to hear him and Del Hansen on Norm
mhm,
Hiskis' show a while back
mhm.
before Norm retired. And man, it's just so good to hear three old timers kind of go at it and have fun. And Del Hansen's doing a thing at the poker house in Dallas right now. So I mean, he's
I didn't
enjoying his
know that.
tournament.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. So Randy's getting old, so he doesn't.
No.
Every once in a while, he'll show up on Dallas Sports to talk a little bit. I've asked him on the show a few times. I don't want to bother him, so he's not interested anymore because he's
Yeah.
retired. He wants to be away from that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We used to have him on the show quite a bit. I think I've had him on about 10 times on this show. And he's just nothing but pure entertainment. I loved him. So I stole his lines because they make sense. Like, watch the damn game. There's a difference. You can look at the numbers of a sporting event all day long, but if you're not watching the damn game, you're going to fall
Mhm.
into a lot of things that you shouldn't be talking about. And I'll give you an example of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to throw this up because this makes really no sense to me. But when I saw it, we have a guy on our show. His name's Bryce. Says Sonny always needs to get drug tested. Well, guess what? Andy Dalton needs to get drug tested. I don't listen, and I like Andy Dalton, and I just want to put that out there. I like him, but he was never as good as what everybody perceived him to be, but he was always a good guy, always played his role. But now he's talking like he's been taking drugs. I mean, he's out there. I view myself as a starter in this league. I don't think there are 32 more guys better than me. And that's, but guess what? You know who also said that? Cam Newton. So guess what? Listen, Andy, with as much love as I got, you really need to get help. You got to get off of whatever you're taking, because even the rookies that are coming into the sport right now are better than you. And if you can't see that, you need to go get drug tested. That's all it is. It's unbelievable.
Time out. You don't just view that as him being confident of his ability?
No, I don't. I believe that is someone being delusional about what their own talent is.
Well, Senator, you're an armchair quarterback. I can see where you think that. Here's the thing. Here's a guy who he put up good numbers at TCU. He was a decent quarterback in Cincinnati. He played in a bad team. Okay, he came to the Cowboys and he got lit up because the Cowboys were bad that year. Big shock, right? Cowboys
just that year.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know. So, I mean, look, I'm a fan. I can say that. All right. So,
yeah.
But to his credit, he wants to compete. And I'm sorry, I want a quarterback who would rather compete for a starting job than be like what Randall Cunningham turned out to be, where it's like, I'm just good on the bench, I'm good. Because he did that with the Cowboys his last couple of years, and that was awesome.
Whoa. Up. What did you say about Randall Cunningham just satisfied sitting on the bench? Have you lost?
What?
Yeah,
okay. His last couple of years when he was a backup to Troy Aikman on the Cowboys. Would you shut up? Listen, when he was a backup for Troy Aikman on the Cowboys, and then when Aikman went down, you saw a lack of urgency to want to get on the field by Randall Cunningham back then, because he was at the end of his career. He was wanting you down, right? He was just sitting there on the bench, collecting the paycheck, calling the plays for Aikman. That's all he was doing. When Aikman went down, he's like, oh, shit, I got to do work now. So he goes out there and he performed okay, but at the same time, I know where he'd rather be. So, because if you're going to armchair quarterback that Andy Dalton is full of crap about thinking he's going to be in top 32, you can't argue with my issue about, hey, well, Randy Cunningham was actually on a team and didn't want to be a starter. So,
that was terrible. Crazy knuckleheaded terrible.
Are you
Right.
you don't
Your revisionist history sucks, sir, okay?
evidently
I
you
was at
don't
every
know who
game.
Randall Cunningham.
I saw
Are
how this all
you
played out.
are you telling me that when it's because
I'm not saying Phil.
what you're
I'm
saying,
not saying Philadelphia Eagle around Cunningham was that way.
but you're saying that he
saying
did not want to be the starter of the Dallas Cowboys. Is that what you're saying?
No, he wanted to sit there and collect a paycheck. That's all he wanted to do.
And you had Joe come early in the show. You have first of all, and this is the only thing I'm not going to tell you what I think.
You just like him because he's your favorite.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell you what I know. Okay.
What do you
all right.
know?
Randall, do you know what Randall Cunningham does for a living today?
I don't care.
Oh, well, see, all right. So that is the difference. Okay. All right. His drive and passion, he could stop working. He works as a what's it? There's a word card, but he builds brick walls. There's a name for it. I can't remember.
He's a mason. I get that. But here's the thing. But
this dude wants to do something, and you're saying that he did not want to be the starter for the Dallas Cowboys.
First of all, he spent the last year or two with the Cowboys, sitting on the bench, collecting a nice paycheck to help him in the future.
But is that by his fault? I mean, or is it because Troy Aikman's just that good he can't get in?
Yeah, but Aikman will get hurt a lot. So
yeah, but,
I mean, the thing is that always worried him. So, but once again, he started.
That worries every NFL football team as far as their starting quarterback. Come on, Trey.
You're taking this all. You're taking this in a different direction. I'm saying that at least Andy Dalton wants to compete. That's all. I'd rather have a quarterback on the team who wants to compete. Because he's just going crazy over there. He's like, no. Listen, do you want to have a player on your team who doesn't want to compete? I know I don't.
Well, here's the thing. See, that's the deal. You're wrong about not wanting to compete. You're wrong. I mean, come on. You're saying that. Hold on. Have you ever talked to Randall Cunningham?
Can we get off the round?
So he came out on the interview and said, "Listen, I don't want to play. I just want to collect a paycheck." Is that what you're actually saying?
No, he never actually came out and said. But let's say if you're going to sit there and make these judgments about one player, because that's all they are, just judgments, then I have the right to do the same thing. I want to make the same judgment about what I saw back in the day of him just saying, "I'm good. I don't need to go out there and get killed." Yeah, I see your cup. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean, look,
it's the cup.
Okay.
I agree with you, but we'd both be wrong. But
look, I'm just saying, if you're the quarterback of any team, whether you know your role or you don't know your role, you want to compete. And for him to come out there and make a brash statement like he did, good for him. It may not work. It may not. There's definitely, as you said, there's definitely players better. But if he goes in that mindset saying, "Well, I'm just okay," then what does that do to his team? What does it do to him? So I get all that.
Okay, so then let's take a step back. Cam Newton saying that he's one. So you think the same thing about Cam Newton? See, because I kind of deal with facts more so than fiction when it comes to this kind of stuff. And Cam Newton is not one of the top 32 quarterbacks in this league, and neither is Andy Dalton.
Listen. I'm not saying Andy Dalton is one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league.
Okay,
I'm saying I'm saying he has to project that out there as a competitor, just so his team doesn't sit there and go, "Well, this guy's half-assed. I don't play with him." So I get why he's saying it. Okay, Is he right? I mean, this is not a question if he's right or not. Okay, this is just him trying to project who he is. Saying you're the baddest man in the world when you might just be somewhat of a pussy. Don't mean sorry for my language, but I mean, you have to project that if you're going to win. If you're going to lose, then just going to go, "Well, I got another year, and we'll see what happens." I hope I can play, but hopefully, hopefully I get in there. But you know what? I'll be just happy to sit here on the sideline, just and help guide the young people. I mean, I can do that just as well as I can be on the field. Then that's kind of ridiculous. Then nobody wants to hear that shit. But
here's the thing, though. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, you'll correct me if I'm wrong.
You are. Go ahead.
Randall Cunningham was here for 1 year.
Oh my God, we're back on him again. Jesus, I mean, I just use him as an example. Enough with him. Okay, I said my thing about. We're talking about Andy Dalton.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So I got to give up.
Yes, give up on that shit. Okay, and Cam Newton, give up on him too. He sucks too. But look, look. I'm just saying that.
Lord.
As a quarterback who's wanting to compete in the NFL, and let's face it, he wants to get paid too. Still, okay, they don't know about it. He still wants to get paid, and you don't get paid by telling any NFL team, "Yeah, I'm all right." I mean, I can back up and throw the ball. Hopefully, I don't get sacked too much.
Here's the thing, and I do. I love Andy Dalton. I loved Andy Dalton when he played for the Bengals. I wish he had a better freaking team. I really do, because that guy was set to do what it. But he had a horrible head coach, had bad teammates around him. He always got kicked out in the first round of the playoffs. I felt bad for him. But here's the thing, because this is what I like to do on this show.
Keep it real.
We're going to keep it real here, okay? And knowing that Andy Dalton is not, I will say I like Andy Dalton as the person. And I don't know. I guess I guess I'm more. Well, I say it about my show all the time. We're not the best out there in the world. I still do my show. I don't need to say I'm one of the best. I just do my show. And that's what Andy Dalton needs to do. He just needs to be a quarterback.
But here's the thing. Like I take my podcast. I have the longest running podcast in the DFW area when it comes to professional wrestling. Okay, as far as promoting the area, promoting everything else, and I'm the place to go. The other people can have their podcast all they want. They can talk professional wrestling all they want to me. At the end of the day, I'm the one with the built-in history. So I can sit there and protect everybody else out there and say, listen, I'm the show to be on. I mean, look, both y'all.
I'll even admit that for you, right? Because there are a lot of over the 14 years I've been doing sports shows, they've come and gone, and I'm still here. So I get what you're saying.
If you self-promote the right way and you have a positive energy about yourself and about how you help the team itself. You don't help the team by saying, "Well, here goes nothing." I mean, you don't do that.
I wish I understood the context that this question was asked or why he said it.
Right.
I would like to know. More so if he just came out and said it, or was he drawn into it, or how he was saying that. That's where I like to be. Because a lot of times sometimes when you make a bold statement
blasphemy, the blasphemy.
It's blasphemy when you say things like that. So,
but then also having said that, look at all 32 teams. Is there not one quarterback on one of those teams that's starting that he might not be better than?
Oh God, yes. I don't think even the rookies coming in. Right. Listen, they're every single one of them.
Right.
Better than Andy Dalton. Every single one of them, even the rookies. And if you watch the show, Sonny, I don't like rookies.
Sonny, shut up. I'm saying you're going to tell me there's not one.
My show, I'm going to complete my thought.
There's not one quarterback on any NFL team right now that might be a little less than Andy Dalton. You see, I mean, the entire league, all 32 teams, there's not one quarterback that maybe Dalton could be better than?
I don't think so, no.
I can only think of one.
Okay, we got one.
All right, what's the one? What's the one?
Jordan Love.
Who?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Wait, what? What? What?
Why did you say such a thing? That is insanity.
How do you disrespect Jordan Love?
He ain't done nothing.
Like that, saying that. Yeah. Yes, you're right.
All right. Thank you. He ain't done nothing.
Except work behind the goat, and he's more prepared than Andy Dalton would ever be
or
in any football game.
Or he's ready to fail just as evenly. I mean.
Well, this is true. Hey, listen. That's going to be a really interesting team to watch this year.
So then here's the question:
what he does?
You got experienced quarterback Andy Dalton. You got
Jordan Love.
He has the years, but he doesn't have the experience of Jordan Love. He has. Okay, fine. But I'm saying he hasn't been beat up by the NFL yet like Andy Dalton has, okay? Mm-hmm. So he hasn't taken the punishment like Dalton has and gotten back up. So let's, clearly give him a year, see how he does. But right now, I'm not saying I would take Dalton over Jordan Love. I'm just saying, is there a quarterback out there that could possibly be less than – you can tell me that whoever the quarterback for the Commanders may not be less than Andy Dalton?
I got an idea. I think we should ask the man. Cuervo, he's not going to be on the show, but I'm going to message him, and I'm going to ask Cuervo this same question that you're bringing forward. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let's see. Cuervo. There he is. So we're asking him, would he rather have Andy Dalton or Jordan Love? Is that what we're asking him?
No. What we're asking, is there any quarterback that's starting in the NFL that maybe Dalton's a little bit better than?
Okay.
That's all we're asking.
Show question. All right. So show question is there any QB? Oh, dang it. All right. Any QB that you would rather have? Well, no, I'm wording it wrong. Say again.
Okay, out of the 32 teams, is there any quarterback out there that might be beneath Andy Dalton?
Okay. All right.
Because I'm looking at the list right now, at least some of them. Jacoby Brissett, he's on the list. Kyler Murray's
Yeah,
not
but
even,
no,
I
Jacoby
mean, Kyler Murray's not even playing this year.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Well, he's not going to pay for it, but listen, who was the guy you just mentioned? He's not even a starter. Teddy Bridgewater. He's not even a starter.
I didn't mention him.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah.
Who?
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh yeah, he's not start. Who's he starting for?
Commanders.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but no, Jacoby Brissett is not better than Jordan Love either.
No.
But all right. So out of the 32,
I mean,
starting quarterbacks
with the off year that Russell Wilson had last year, you gonna sit there and tell me that Dalton would have a worse one?
Oh, listen, hold on. All right, hold on. See, now this all just depends on what you think happened last year. So let me just say that. I'm going to throw a little conspiracy at you. Okay? That conspiracy is that Russell Wilson did not want that head coach for that football team. Okay? Straight out. Okay? He got his guy. I got news for you. The comeback player of the year already. Oh, what's the date? It is July 2nd. It's going to be Russell Wilson. And not only that, you watch. The Broncos are going to make the playoffs. Okay? So that should be. You just mind me. We'll go back to this date and we'll say, man, Sonny.
I'll say. You take Desmond Ridder over Andy Dalton?
Younger, knowing. See, but this is the problem. Okay? And
don't make excuses. Would you take him or not?
Probably not. I probably would go ahead and take Ridder, just mainly because of his age and what he's been going through and what his history has been for the last 2 years in the NFL. And last 2 years in the NFL, Andy Dalton, hell, I could almost go out there and be better than him. So,
Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I take Baker. Listen, I said it on this show before. I'll say it again. Baker Mayfield may not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but there's nobody that gets more scrutiny than Baker Mayfield. So a lot of people got a lot of eyes on him that want to go ahead and discredit what he did, which is take the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. What? It's been 30 years before that? He took them to the playoffs. Everybody discredits him. They got there because of him. It wasn't despite him. It was because guess what? They didn't make the playoffs 30 years before that.
Hey, all I'm saying is that if you're an NFL team right now and you have a chance to take on a quarterback that's got experience, may not be the best quarterback in the world. You know what? Just because you don't win Super Bowl rings doesn't make you not the best quarterback.
No. I agree with you. I agree with you. That's a good statement.
He's a veteran. He's got experience, and if he has to lead a team to for the year, do you feel safer with him or a rookie?
I'd rather go rookie because I know who he has been for the
and
last 2
that's
years.
weird coming
And
from you because you're not rookie driven, so that's weird.
No, I'm not rookie driven, but what I am is washed up quarterback driven. I know who they are. And guess what? Andy Dalton is a washed up quarterback in the NFL. Straight out.
I'm not saying it's not.
2 years.
I'm not saying he's not washed up, but I mean, for him to say what he's about, you're disappearing again.
Out of the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL,
Sonny, I'm sorry.
Is
see, it's taking this long to type out of the message. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Let the man take some time.
Is Andy
here's
Dalton?
what I find interesting about what Andy.
You
Dalton
watched him close and personal. You watch him as Saints fan. You've watched him close and personal, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Who's better, Taysom Hill or Andy Dalton?
God, I'd rather take the game where Taysom Hill threw 4 picks against the Cowboys over Andy Dalton. You got to. Here's the thing, and here's what's embarrassing about this season. Now this is gonna sound weird. The Kansas City Chiefs have more wins at the Cardinals Stadium than the Cardinals do at their own home stadium. And you know the reason why? The Cardinals had 1 win at their home stadium, and it was to the Saints because Andy Dalton didn't know what to do with the football, dude.
Dude's lost.
Here's what I'm saying.
Can't read defenses.
And here's what I'm saying. You know, we're kind of over here debating. Well, would we rather have Desmond Ridder or Andy Dalton?
I think I've decided. I think I even take Ridder.
Well, yeah, but here we're gonna watch the Falcons and the Panthers play at least twice this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, division rivals. We saw it last year, and clearly Desmond Ridder. He didn't have the best receivers. We can give him that. We can cut him a little bit of slack. He didn't have the best receivers. He had Drake London. This year they brought in Mac Hollins. Other than that, I don't know a single soul on that football team other than Kyle Pitts. If Kyle Pitts can stay healthy.
I love Pitts. Yeah, exactly.
He's not a good fantasy player to get, though. I'll tell you that right now. I had him for the last couple of years. He wouldn't do shit for me.
I love Kyle Pitts, and I really liked him coming out of the draft. But what was he drafted number 4 overall? Am I correct?
Yeah, way too early.
That was not worth the number 4 overall pick. What? Hang on. Answer this question. What draft was he drafted in? 21?
Yeah.
I think it was
21. Yeah.
I think 21. Yeah.
Yeah, 21. There was so much other talent they could have taken there. And yeah, I can agree. Tight ends are a great position to have in football. You know, if you really think about it, the Chiefs. What did we think going into last season? Right? They lost Tyreek Hill. They're screwed. They're only going to be able to throw to Kelsey. Well, they brought in Kadarius Toney. They had Juju, but I mean, Travis Kelce was a big part of that offense. What about the Ravens? Before maybe the ghost of OBJ, which that's what I'm going to call it. You know, OBJ isn't going to be who he used to be, but you know, if Lamar can't depend on Rashad Bateman or what's his name, dude? I can't remember. I Nelson Aguilar. But if he can't depend on any of his receivers, Mark Andrews exists. You know,
hold on. That being said, I get what you're saying, but those guys you mentioned need to depend on Lamar Jackson being on the field. Okay?
You're right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, also the OBJ is the first move that the Ravens have done to help this young kid be a better quarterback.
Okay.
And Andy's washed up and really the best move. Andrews is only going to do too much. Guess what? If that's your only weapon, they're going to double down on Andrews and the other guys suck. So you got to find something to do. They bring in OBJ. Now, I don't think I think that's going to work? No. Is it going to be better? Yes. But will that result in W's? I don't know. It's going to come down to injuries on both OBJ as well as Lamar Jackson. If they're not out on the football field, they're not going to win football games. Now, here's the answer from Cuervo. He says yes, he would start them over. He says he would start them over the incoming rookies, plus starting for Washington and Atlanta. So,
listen,
I don't know.
Listen, I just read the entire article about why he said what he said, and it dawned on me: gingers have no soul, so don't worry about it. I back up. I backtrack what I said.
Got it. Okay. All right, so that's what Cuervo says. He'd take him over any rookie. Listen, I don't know the difference between Andy Dalton and a rookie, so I just might as well go young, and maybe you find your generational talent as your rookie. Yeah, Andy Dalton, I wouldn't start him if I owned any NFL franchise in the NFL.
But let me ask a question:
and I wouldn't start Andy Dalton.
If he's your best option on your team, and you can't get anybody else, and
what does that mean? Does that mean you can't get anybody else? Are you saying rookies you can't get anybody else? I'm not criticizing.
Well, shut up and I'll tell you. if you look at the free agency pool and you have no one anywhere near as good as Andy Dalton, and he is in your front liner to be a starter because of what you have left, don't you want that starting quarterback to have that kind of confidence to go into the season and go, yeah, I got this?
No.
You don't want your quarterback. You want your quarterback to then go.
Well, you do
this is going to suck this year, guys, because I'm 32 and I'm really kind of had it. I'm kind of beat up, and I got to be honest with everybody. I don't really have what it takes anymore. Do you want that as your quarterback, as your starter?
Yeah.
You're trying to sell butts in the seat.
That's why I want to know the context that the question was asked or what was going on. Because if he just came out and said that out of the blue, then I want him drug tested, because it's an insane thing to say. It's an insane thing to say. As far as that is concerned. Now, that also being said, in your theory and what you brought, maybe yes, because if your starter's going down, whether it's your rookie quarterback or your let's just say, by the way, where's he playing? Is he playing Carolina? I don't even know where he's playing.
Carolina.
Carolina? All right, so they got a rook going out there. If the rook goes down, yeah, I'm okay with Andy Dalton. But him being the starter, based upon, especially, think about this also, the Panthers in the division that they're in. This division sucks. Okay, straight out. The only quote unquote quarterback is Derek Carr, and he sucks. But he's better than most. He's about average. He's about in between 15 and 20 as far as the rankings of the NFL quarterbacks, in my opinion. Then yes, but outside of that, I don't think you start this guy as your guy. But
once again, if you go through training camp, right, and your rookie quarterback can complete a pass, he can't read defenses, he can't pick up the speed of the NFL off just training camp and off of preseason games, and you're going to go in the season and go, well, I can start him and possibly destroy our season, or have maybe a fighting chance with a quarterback who's got a little bit of confidence in him. Now, I know why Z don't like him because when Dalton was with the Saints, he went 6-8, and let's face it, Z's real bitter about that. But I get that. I mean, I understand, because he didn't do too well with the Cowboys either. But then again, it's all about the
he was a Dallas Cowboy too, wasn't he? He sucked here too, right? Do I remember that? Yeah, that's right. He sucked here too.
Yeah, he did. So I'm not saying he doesn't suck. I'm saying I want a quarterback to have confidence to go into a season saying he could be a starter. I don't want to have a quarterback saying going, I'd be a good third stringer. Don't worry about it. I don't want that.
I would rather start third string Matt Corral.
Z saw enough. He's like, no, I don't want him on my team no more.
He was the best hire on the Couch Potato Sports Show just for that statement. That was awesome.
I would rather go into free agency, sign either not even the dead corpse of Trevor Siemian or Nick Foles and start him over Andy Dalton.
Hey. That's great. That's a good question for Cuervo. I'm gonna Nick Foles or Andy Dalton. That is awesome.
Okay, right. While you're at it, would you want to bring back Colin Kaepernick for 1 year?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Now that's interesting because that was part of it. I had Kaepernick as part of a conversation today in today's show, and that brings up a very good point as far as who is. I'm going to say this. because this is based on what I've seen from Andy Dalton for the last 2 years. I put Colin Kaepernick in before Andy Dalton because we don't necessarily know what Colin Kaepernick can do, but we know what Andy Dalton can do. And I think I'd take my chances with Colin Kaepernick. A guy who hasn't hit the field in I don't know how many years. Yes, I take Kaepernick over Andy Dalton. Yes, I know. I need to get to so.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Maybe.
I'd
All
rather
right, so Nick Foles or Andy or Andy Dalton, and then I will ask.
I'd rather take Dalton, who has taken punishment for years, over a guy who gets all pissy because the NFL doesn't like him anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? In that situation, I'd take Andy Dalton. I
Yeah.
think I would. I think I would.
Do you? I don't know, and I'm asking. I'm not saying you should know, but you do know that Colin Kaepernick took his football team to 2 NFC championship games.
And you do realize how long ago that was, right?
I do know that. I do know that. But here's what I also know. All this stuff happened young in his career. Listen, I'm not saying he'd be great. I think he could actually play today. I really do. I don't know why.
His
His
mistake was he didn't try to say, okay, the NFL doesn't want me. Fine. There's other football leagues up. There's arena football. There's Canadian football. There's USFL now. There's XFL. There's USFL again. I mean, There's that AAF that came out last.
This is what I know. Not what I think I know, but what I know. No one gives a rat's fat ass whether or not he played in the IFL, double AF, or whatever, even the USFL, or even that won the XFL. No one gives a shit. And what people have got to realize, and I'm going to give everybody a come to Jesus. None of those players are on NFL levels, or they'd be there or have been there. There are only a few that have been there, but they have never made it back.
But
wonder why that would be. It's because they're not good enough. And there's nothing wrong with saying that.
But Sonny, here's a player who was exiled from the NFL, who could have the option to go other places. He chose not to. He chose to be a martyr and not do it. Okay?
Well, hold on. That just depends on what your definition of martyr is or what, but okay. I get what you're saying.
First of all, I have no problem with players taking a knee. I have no problem with it because you know what? He did that for the right cause. I get all that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because, is there still police violence with African Americans? Yeah, it does happen. Doesn't happen everywhere, but it does happen. Now, it also happens with white people too. He never really mentioned that as well, but it does happen. Once again, I'm not a cop either, so I don't know the pressures that they go. I know my nephew's a cop, and I know that he has pressure that I can't even fathom going through.
I can't even.
Yeah.
By the way, thank him for what he does, because mentally, now, he's probably messed up, and I feel bad for him.
Right, but no, I don't think he's messed up. But the thing is, though, is that to have a player take a stand like that, I totally agree with what Colin Kaepernick did. I think he got a raw deal in the NFL. Having said that, the NFL is guilty of that too, because what do they do every time he had a game? They put the camera on him. They didn't have to do that. They could have protected their own brand and not did that and not drawn attention to it. So they shot themselves in the foot over a player who was a halfway decent quarterback, and at the same time, want to make a political stance that was nonviolent. That was, actually, for the idea of, listen, all I want to do is make the world better, and I'm taking my platform that I currently have to do it. Yes, that rubbed a lot of old school fans the wrong way, and
military people the wrong way.
By the way, his taking a knee over the flag is not about the military. It is not about the military. The song is about the military, but his taking a knee down was not about. It was about police brutality. That's all it was. How we got it all shoved to the military and everything else.
I know.
Having said that, name of your show. Having said that, how long has he been gone?
Oh, he's been gone a long time. I'm not going to question it.
Over
right now, I think right now, T.O. could play right now. I think he could.
Okay,
see, there's certain guys that can keep themselves in shape and ready to go.
Sonny, he's been gone.
And Colin is one of them.
He has not read a defense in 5 years. He's not dealt with the change of the NFL, the speed of the NFL. He's not even dealt with the speed of the AFL or whatever else. So I personally think it was on him. If you're not gonna play me here, I'll go somewhere else. I'll still have my political stance. I'll still do my thing. But if you're not gonna do it, I'll go somewhere else until you all realize that maybe I'm just a good player and I need to be back in the NFL. Then I'll come back. He didn't do that.
Yep. But here's the thing, Trey.
And that's where he became a martyr for himself.
Well, no. Listen, I'm no Colin Kaepernick fan per se, okay, at all. That also being said, this goes kind of about what you said about Andy Dalton. About, hey, I'm one of the best of the 32. And right now, I don't think Colin Kaepernick has said that, but I think he probably believes that too. Would anybody believe it? Would anybody take Colin Kaepernick over even the rookies today? I know I'd take Kaepernick over the rookies. See, there's just certain guys that have, for lack of better words, it. One is Terrell Owens. Right now, I'm telling you right now, Terrell Owens could be the number 3 wide receiver on almost any football team outside of the teams that got 3 great ones like the Bengals and that. But if there's a team that needs a wide receiver, I bet you Terrell Owens can fill in a number 3 wide receiver slot better than most rookies or 1-2 years guys. There's certain guys that can do it. Colin Kaepernick, as much as I don't necessarily think what he did was incorrect in how he went about it, because I think the NFL kind of blackballed him. I really do. I kind of think that happened. But at the same time, when you think about a Colin Kaepernick, when he went out, he was slowly stinking. But you also had to realize the coaching staff at the time when that was going on was not great. So there was a couple of different instances why you've seen the difference when Colin Kaepernick his last 2 years compared to the 2 years before that. So a lot of it has to do with coaching. He was still young. He's still young. He's only 36. Now, when I say only 36, on a lot of positions, that's horrible. But look at these quarterbacks that are playing to 40, 42 years old. He's 36 years old. He's got at least 3 more years. He could get in shape like nothing. And I think I'd put him in before any rookie. I think I would. I don't know why.
I think the league has passed him by. So that's just my opinion.
It could. And you know what? I could.
I was not exactly.
I could be wrong. But anyway, by the way, Cuervo, Nick Foles or Andy Dalton? And the answer is Nick Foles. What was the other one of we were going to ask him about?
Oh shoot, Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian.
Because I remember whenever the Saints had to start Trevor Siemian, he did the job that he had to do. Now, I remember one of the because there was one game where we had to start like basically all backups.
I remember that game. I remember, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was
I'm right back.
There was a wide receiver from the Bears that like we picked, and I forgot what his name was, Kelvin White or something. He got like his first catch in 5 years, and it was 30+ yards. But I'd rather have Trevor Siemian's Saints career over Andy Dalton's Saints career. And if Andy Dalton,
Trevor Siemian's a better quarterback than Andy Dalton.
Yes,
just straight out and ready to go, and you're going to win more games with Trevor Siemian than you are with Andy Dalton.
I agree, and one thing I also forgot: Andy Dalton played for the Bears. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, a year.
But I do know that Andy Dalton is not that guy. In the games that we did have to start Trevor Siemian,
Good point.
No one thought he was going to do anything. Everyone thought he was just going to be that guy that was going to throw a bunch of picks. But here's the thing, right? The thing with being a quarterback in the NFL. Being a quarterback in the NFL is different than being a quarterback than almost in any other league, right? Because
I agreed.
Because the competitive amount is different, right? We can even, I'll bring a reference from the IFL. If this is no disrespect to TJ Edwards, if TJ Edwards goes onto an NFL football field and tries to play a game,
You get
he's
wiped
not
out.
going to be what he is in the IFL. That's exactly what he's not going to be. Just like with Blake Sims from last year, right? He was on a couple NFL teams, maybe on practice squad or something. But if he were to actually go out there and play a game, he wouldn't play like he did in the IFL.
No.
It's a different skill level. And, it's not like you can just go from one league to another, right? Like, if you're an XFL quarterback, if you started your career as an XFL quarterback, you're not going to go to the NFL and be solid, decent, not even. You'll
make it to the Canadian leagues.
You'll make it to the CFL.
I forget who I was talking to about this, but here's the thing. And like you said, not necessarily any disrespect to the quarterbacks that play in these leagues. Okay. These leagues don't hold a candle to what the NFL is. The NFL is 10 times faster, 100 times more complex, and everything else. And if you are not going to get, how do you say it, brought up in the NFL, you're never going to make it. And if and when you ever do make it there, you'll never see the field. The best bet for any player that is not going to get NFL drafted at the quarterback position, okay, is Canada. Simple as that. It's the NFL, Canada, and then who gives a shit? That's the way it is. Now, I love indoor football.
You know what though? That's what makes Kurt Warner such an anomaly.
Well, yeah. Kurt Warner is definitely a guy that went a different route, and it was a different day at that time. Okay. When Warner got out of Iowa, okay, that being the Barnstormers where he won a championship, which, by the way, they pissed me off when they put him up in the NFL or the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They didn't put the Barnstormers on there where he got his start. That logo, they didn't even put that in there. So why?
Because it's not pro football.
Well, see now, but as far as Kurt Warner is concerned,
it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yeah, well. Hold on. That's my point. Supposedly, the AFL was a pro football league. So that's my only thing. But listen, there's not going to be another Kurt Warner. Okay? No. There's not going to be anybody coming out of these leagues. And I love these leagues and I love the guys. And they are not NFL. I don't care who they are. The best, I'll use Robert Kent. And we all know who Robert Kent is. Oh, well, you don't. But Z knows. He's the best indoor football quarterback today. Well, probably last 2 years, but the 5 years before 2 years, he was the best best indoor football quarterback to play the game. And I love him, and he's my friend. But I would tell him exactly what I'm saying now. He's not an NFL quarterback because you want to know why? If he was, he'd be on an NFL football team. And that's just facts. But that don't diminish what I think about Robert Kent or any of these guys that do, because especially in the IFL, they're making what, $250, $350 a game, and they're putting their bodies on the line for nothing. So, it's more in the fact that you got to recognize who's playing the game and who has a chance. Now, question on Trevor Siemian or Andy Dalton. Cuervo says Dalton. He says, "Are you guys talking about my Bears?"
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, he did play for the Bears, and I was gonna bring that up, but
he did. Yes, he did.
How many teams has Trevor Siemian played on? I don't even know it.
He played. I think he's played on 5.
Maybe he
started in New England. Then he went to the Raiders, and then Denver.
Broncos, that one.
Say again.
I know the Broncos. That's all I really know.
Yeah, the
Broncos.
And he was with the Saints, and he was with if I'm not mistaken, I thought it was another NFC South team. I thought he was with the Panthers, but he never played. But I think he's been with 5 football. Someone look it up. Come on. Hey, that's why I got you here. Hey, come on, Z. Look it up. Find out where he's been. That's you. You get your computer. My goodness. I got
hang on, just give me.
I don't do this. I
Hey,
do
Sonny.
this, which
Hey,
is
Sonny.
not always good.
Hey, Sonny, I got to take off, buddy, but just FYI, good show, Z. Good seeing you again. And, I love that y'all don't think I'm right when the whole world knows that I am. So it's all good. And, once again, I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time, all right?
And we'll talk to you about what happened at Money in the Bank next time.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to watch it today.
Oh, let me just all right, and I'm going to tell you this. I think you'll think this is one of the better. You'll think this is one of the better pay-per-views. I think. I won't tell you exactly what happened, but I think you'll like it.
Okay, I'm sure I will. I mean, my
Cool.
own show was talking about in our group chat, so I pretty much know what I'm looking at. All right, see you guys.
All right, see you later, pork chop.
Yeah,
See you later. Bye.
Pork
I
chop.
called you pork chop.
That's crazy.
Motherfucker.
Hasta luego. Now, that being said, we got to do, Z, we got to do something. We got to go into commercial because I got to go to the bathroom, but we also got to make sure we take care of our commercial. So we're going to jump into that when we come back. Did you watch Money in the Bank yet?
No, I actually didn't. I'm sorry, and this might be a hot take, but ever since I got into football, wrestling just hasn't been as great to me.
All right, then I'll save it for next time. So we'll hop into that because I got a lot of NFL stuff we'll talk about here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said, we'll be right back.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors. The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer field. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Casso Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance and save a ton. Casso Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CassoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on. Yeah, but is it fresh?
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Here at Fit Body Boot Camp, located in Saxe, the solution is here. Fast, long-lasting weight loss results and the healthy lifestyle you need to keep them. The key to your fat loss success is our signature afterburn workouts, as well as support and motivation from our world-class coaches, and an easy-to-follow nutrition program to help you keep the fat off. Visit your local Fit Body Boot Camp in Saxe today to see the difference for yourself. Or give us a call at 214-463-3005. That's 214-463-3005. Fit Body Boot Camp, Saxe. Saxe Ice House is a non-smoking craft beer and beer pub located in the heart of Saxe. The Ice House was opened to provide a friendly, clean, and female-friendly environment. Saxe was lacking a place for service industry, date nights, and girls' nights, as well as happy hours. Excellent service and top-notch food are our priority. On Tuesday, we offer 79-cent wings, as well as half-price burgers on Mondays. So check us out at the Ice House, located at 6501 Highway 78 in Saxe, or give us a call at 469-304-1550, or check us out on the web at saxeicehouse.com. Go Mustangs! Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcast? Check out K-West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has up so you can see, especially if you have a special occasion that needs something original or design or something that says, this is our moment. Check out K-West Designs on Facebook or give Kelly a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. K-West Designs. Rich's Performance Muffler and Auto Care has provided complete auto repair services to the Wiley area since 2003. Whether it's alignments, brakes, air conditioning, muffler service, suspension, front-end auto services, or in my case, a Cadillac converter, Rich does it all. Stop by and see him at 603 Commerce Street, Suite 203 in Wiley, or give him a call at 972-461-0776. That's 972-461-0776. You'll be happy you called Rich instead of anybody else.
Everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show as we continue on the home of the radio broadcast at the Saxe Mustangs for the 2013 season. I, along with one Butch Wesson and Eagle Eye Bill Cerna on color commentary, as we'll be bringing you those games this year. Although the Eagle Eye will be busy on the first game, he's going to be part of the 30 and 30. This guy, I guess I don't have a life, but 30, he's going to go to 30 different baseball stadiums in 30 days. Amazing. I mean, hey, and if you could get the time off like he did to do it, hey, more power to you. Never mind the travel, the eating out. I think I'd get sick of it, but I could do it for a little while, but not 30 in 30 days. But I get it. An idea he's going to visit a lot of them out there. He's going to only miss, I think, 4. I think there's 34 Major League Baseball teams. And last I remember. But that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. He's going to do it. He's not going to be part of game 1. It's just going to be me and Butch in game 1, and then we'll bring him in after that. So that being said, I kind of gave away what we were going to talk about, going from the commercial to the intro. But I saw this, and I thought it was really interesting. I was like, well, okay, let's talk about it. Because there are certain teams that will make it to the big game, then they'll lose, and then we don't see them. And why is that? I mean, they're good enough to get there, but not good enough to get back, or whatever the case may be. Well, let's take a look at what has been happening, because the Eagles, will they drop from their success that they had this past season after losing the Super Bowl? Well, why did it happen? And if you look on it, whether it's the Rams, Baltimore Ravens, the Seattle Seahawks, Patriots, outside of the Patriots, but San Francisco Chargers, and the Carolina Panthers. What's the key in all of them? Health, injuries. The biggest story for any team to try to make it back to the success that they saw. And that is no different than the Philadelphia Eagles and what they got to do this season in order to either make it back or at least have somewhat of a successful season. And that's one of the hardest things that a lot of teams have to do. So, Z, you've seen the Philadelphia Eagles. You watched them in the Super Bowl. You've seen that was a good football team. That being said, though, where are they going to be headed? I mean, what are your expectations of the Philadelphia Eagles based upon what you've seen in the Super Bowl, some of the moves that they made in the offseason, and, obviously paying their guy? They paid their quarterback, which is what they should have done. So what's your expectations of the Philadelphia Eagles as they move on?
There's you gotta draw a line to where you think they're gonna go, because if you really think about it, right, they lost a lot of good players.
They did.
Over free agency. They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which former Saint. I miss C.J. I really miss C.J. He was our guy. They lost C.J. They lost quite a few guys. They soon are gonna have to pay Devonta Smith, which a lot of people might say don't re-sign him because of his size, but that size clearly in the NFL. Well, not at least for Devonta Smith, he proved that you can be small. You can be a twig and you can still, go out there and play as he did in the Super Bowl. But no, I'm gonna say
Jason Hargrove is a big loss with his football team.
Oh yeah, Jason Hargrove, yeah, but they did go up and pick up Jalen Carter. So
well, yes, but at the same time, when you look at that, which is wonderful, what was it? Marcus Epps. They lost Epps. And mostly T.J. Edwards is their is another big loss. And then a guy that they don't talk about as a big loss, but I think it's going to end up being a big loss, is Kaiser White. Losing Kaiser White was a mistake. It was a loss for this football team. I didn't even realize that they lost Kaiser White until I just looked it up here. So I think that's going to be something that they're going to have to. In other words, they're going to have to fill a lot of holes that are going on right now that they lost in free agency, and see what they have to do to move forward to somewhat be as good as they were last year. But let's be honest, a lot of that success came from Jalen Hurts and what he was able to do in order to win football games for him.
Yeah, and we can't forget about this. They lost Miles Sanders.
I think it's a big loss.
That's a huge loss. Now, picking up DeAndre Swift out of a trade, I don't know, man. We'll see. They now have DeAndre Swift. They have Rashad Penny. They have Boston Scott and Trey Sermon, if I'm not mistaken. And okay, where's the best landing spot for Dalvin Cook? I don't necessarily know about the Eagles though, because DeAndre Swift, there can't really be, people can't say, oh well, he was bad because he was on a Lions offensive line. Just because the Lions have been bad, except for this season, doesn't mean that their offensive line was terrible. Think about it for a second. You have Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow.
Yes.
Why can't I think of his name? I know exactly who it is. I just can't think of his name. He made a random catch. The offensive lineman.
Well, I know I seen the play what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember
I can't remember his name, but But then again, it's the Lions, so no one really remembers anybody's names for the Lions. So it's kind of one of those things. but as far as the Lions are concerned, I get what you're saying. Depending on your losses and how you fill those holes, they're going to be the biggest spot as far as what the Eagles can do. And listen, when you talked about it, and it's something that they are going to have to look at. They're losing Miles Sanders. Now, granted, he may have wanted too much money. I think they should have paid him because it would have been happy. Same team, everybody happy. But you look at Miles Sanders as far as numbers in the last 4 years, they're not there, but he's only come to fruition within the last 2. So if you're going to replace a guy who was on his way up in reality, there's some guys that you had a chance to get out there and try to get, whether it was Derrick Henry, Delvin Cook, Nick Chubb. I'm telling you right now, I think I'm selling my soul for Nick Chubb. Or for all that matters, you got Josh Johnson that is going on, and that's a big story as well because right now he is not signing the deal as far as the franchise tag. He's not going to do it, so he's not going to be out there during training camp. So lots of things going on as far as the NFL is concerned, and certain guys, certain teams that, well, as far as running backs, there's only so many places you could go. I mean, so many guys that you could actually get. And the fact of the matter, when you're a football team, if you think you're on the cusp and you look at your running back and Nick Chubb's available and you look at your guy and go, who's going to be better? I think we need to spend some money, because when you add the running back position as a threat in the NFL today, that just makes you that much better. And the problem is that the NFL has been getting away from the running backs for years, that when you do have a Nick Chubb, when you do have a Henry, when you got those guys that are on that list, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, no one's really looking at them. But again, you're talking about 4 seasons. You're looking at these guys as 1,000-yard rushers. Everybody thinks they're great. These guys are better than the 1,000-yard rushers. So yes, do you have to spend some money? Yes, but if you're looking at the NFL and if you're an NFL football team, you're looking for a run for whether it's the Super Bowl or a good run in the playoffs, I think you have to solidify that running back position with one of those top 5 guys that are available. It's sad.
You're right. And, say a team really needs a running back. There's 4 guys in free agency that are running backs that stick out to me. Obviously, with the running back position, 1, Dalvin Cook. We've already mentioned Dalvin Cook. If you really need Dalvin Cook, if you really, really want Dalvin Cook, and you give him a good offer, he might sign with you.
Yep.
Another one is kind of controversial. Personally, I don't know if he's going to get signed or not, or if he's going to fall off and maybe fall into the XFL or something. But Ezekiel Elliott's still there.
Yes.
He's...
Yeah, but how much are you going to pay him?
That's
a money thing.
Yeah, you don't got to pay him that much. He's going to make you pay him, but eventually it's going to get into his head. Like, man, everyone's offering me this little amount of money. I want this money, but I'm not going to get that money. So I just got to go for an offer that I can get. But by then, it'll probably already be too late. You still got Kareem Hunt, which, whenever he was with KC, he wasn't bad. He backed up Nick Chubb. And that used to be, that backfield, if Kareem Hunt was putting up great numbers, while Nick Chubb was also putting up great numbers, that would have been a deadly running back duo. And that's one thing in the NFL. If you can get 2 good running backs, like I think that's something my Saints tried to do, right? Alvin Kamara.
Chubb and Hunt, they were the best 1-2 punch for a couple of years back here right now.
Right. I mean, Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, right? That's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That's another one.
What you're saying is if you get the opportunity to have that 1-2 punch, you better grab it up, especially in the NFL. I mean, look what the Cleveland Browns did with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Whenever Chubb was hurt, hurt, Hunt was in. Whenever Hunt was hurt, Chubb was in. He just kind of worked out that way because they kind of traded off injuries and things of that sort. And it really helped that football team as they were moving forward. So interestingly enough, when I look at what the Cleveland Browns had right now, Nick Chubb is still a Brown. I have they released Kareem Hunt yet, or is he still a Brown? I think they released him.
Yeah.
But guess what? That could be an easy sign in reality for the right money to get him back into Cleveland. So, but with Deshaun Watson changing the whole outlook of the offense in reality based upon who he is compared to who they've used to have, it's like a 1-2-3 punch running the football in the backfield. It's almost, I think it's worth it based upon the fact that who is Deshaun Watson going to be throwing the football to very often? They still have Amari Cooper, but actually, no, Mark, I think they let Cooper go. But as far as wide receivers for the Browns are concerned, they got a lot. I don't know. Did I say something? Did they release Cooper?
No, they didn't release Cooper. I don't think so. Hang on. I can check real quick, but yes, Kareem Hunt is a free agent. They did let him go. And he actually came out and was like, he said, because of the lack of running back market, he even came out and said, I'm just being patient. And that's one thing. Kareem Hunt is a very, very humble guy. Like, if a team really wants him, they can go get him. And I think if it's right. Yeah, no, Amari Cooper is still a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, he's still, and they got Elijah Moore that they picked up from the Jets. So I think that was a good pickup for him. In reality, that might help them. Will that be enough to get past the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals? That's going to be the biggest question, because in the league right now, who has the best 1-2-3 punch at the wide receivers are the Bengals. So you look at what's going on, but. Key up on that as far as this show is concerned. Marquise Goodwin is also on the Browns, a former Rowlett Eagle. We called his games when he played in high school. So that's kind of cool to see him over there. And but when you see what the Browns are, the Browns are in a tough position based upon the contract that they paid for Deshaun Watson. I mean, this team don't have a choice but to play him based upon what he did last year. Now, granted, he came in, week 8 or something, week 9, something like that, and he did not play well. I mean, the rust was still stuck on him as he was walking out of the last game. So it's whether or not he can get the rust shaken off him, because if you believe what the quote-unquote experts said about him before all the nonsense, he was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I didn't think he was, but everybody else seemed to think so. I didn't necessarily think it. Then he gets the 2 years off. It really is. This is the type of guy I think needed to continue to play in order for him to be as good as everybody seems to think he is. So looking at where the Browns are in that division of football, say whatever you want. Right now, the Bengals are on top of that division. And then Pittsburgh and the Ravens are going to be battling for it. Regardless of whatever you think, Cleveland is still at the bottom, or at the bottom of that, based upon the talent that they have on the football team and what they have lost within the last 3 years.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cleveland, they definitely needed a quarterback. I don't know if I would have gone after Deshaun Watson though. The money that they're paying him. This year, if I'm not mistaken, is he getting $46 million?
That's what it came out to. They restructured it, but he's still going to get his money. The guaranteed money was $246 million, guaranteed. Not the total thing, and you can kick him after 2 years. When you invest $246 million in a quarterback, you invested for at least 6 years, if not 7 or 8. Depending on what you're looking at as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. Now, granted, top 10 quarterbacks now, top 3 are getting around 45, in between 40 and 45 million. After that drops into the late 30s. But I don't think Deshaun Watson is that kind of guy that gives you that that gives you 38 to 42 million dollars worth on the football field. That's where and that's where they dropped off. And again, I don't even understand why they ended up signing that guy to that. I mean, signing him, okay. The contract, a little nutty. Someone was in the bar. Someone was in the bar when they were thinking about that, or they just hit up on something, some kind of drugs they were doing when they offered it. But it isn't. But also think about this quarterback position. I can think of a few quarterbacks that unfortunately just didn't get the chance. And we lost one of them last week, and that being Ryan Mallett, who used to be the backup quarterback in New England. The guy didn't see the football field. Then he got traded off to a couple of other teams where he just really didn't give the run. But Ryan Mallett passed away. I guess he drowned in a riptide, wherever he was at. And young guy, 35 years old. Guys, I'm 56. Yeah, so it kind of gives you want to talk about how short a life it really is. There you go. It's right there. So condolences on the passing of Ryan Mallett. I always thought that guy had the talent, but he just didn't get the opportunity. You had the GOAT in front of you. You're pretty much screwed. I mean, it's just like, unless Tom Brady is hurt, which he wasn't very often, you were just there to keep a, seat warm on the bench. And that's pretty much, unfortunately, what he did. When he came out of college, he was really good. There's a couple of guys that came out of college that, you always wish that got the chance, and they just, circumstances left you out there. But as far as, we were talking a little bit earlier about quarterbacks, and you were talking just about the Lions, but you look at the Lions last year, the only quarterback to throw for more than 25 touchdowns with 10 interceptions or less, there was only one. Listen, that's a stat, guys. That's a stat that you got to pay attention to based upon who the team is. Because when you look at the Detroit Lions, the last few years, you thought of them as a joke. Guess what? Last year, it was kind of funny if you thought where they are today compared to last year. But now this year, the Lions are a threat within their own division based upon the fact that Aaron Rodgers has gone out of Green Bay. The only really one that you got to worry about is Kirk Cousins. Sooner or later, that guy's going to break something, and it's not a record. It's going to be a bone, ankle, whatever the case may be. He's going to fall off. The NFC North is a wide open division of football this year, more so than it has been in the last 16 years when Aaron Rodgers was there. It's wide open for just about anybody to go to and actually take. And as much as, I kid Cuervo up on this show, but Claypool made an interesting statement. A lot of times I don't listen to the third quarterback on a football team, but I think he's right. Now, Cuervo, I want you, when you go back and watch this, I want you to recognize what I just said about your beloved Chicago Bears. I agree with Claypool. And listen, I don't listen to what this guy has to say ever. But when he's talking about a night and day leap, the Bears going into the 2013 season, that's not a far-fetched based upon the fact no Aaron Rodgers. What's going to happen? Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. The Lions, are they going to be as good as everybody seems to think they're going to be? It's a wide open division of football. When you're looking at that division of football, who do you think is, right now the favorite to win that division in the NFC North?
I mean, I already got my two teams there. It's got to be the Bears and the Lions. The Packers, you already know my opinion based off of what I said earlier about me taking Andy Dalton over Jordan Love. I'm sorry, but I am not a Jordan Love believer. I personally, and this is going to sound crazy to some, but I'm a big Justin Fields believer. Now, whenever you think of dual threat quarterbacks, you can talk if someone's going to start a conversation about dual threat quarterbacks. there's one quarterback that immediately comes to your mind. That's Lamar Jackson. He can throw the ball and he can run the ball. Your second option is maybe, I'm just going to go ahead and say it flat out. I think Justin Fields, right? This season, he should take a huge leap forward. Why? Well, the Bears helped him out. Really, they really did.
Absolutely.
They got him DJ Moore, which has proven to be an elite receiver. I might sneak him into the top 10, if not top 13. You got Darnell Mooney, and
he's okay.
Yeah,
I think he gets better with what gets around him. So a DJ Moore helps improve him.
Now, yeah, I don't have anything bad about Darnell Mooney. I actually really like Darnell Mooney. My problem with this Bears offense is who their third receiver is, and I'm sorry, but I do not believe in Chase Claypool. Okay,
a lot of people don't. Cuervo, I don't even think he even believes in him. He hopes for him, but I don't think he believes in him.
Yeah, I personally just. He's more for clout. I remember whenever he was on the Steelers. Remember, there was like a couple seconds left in the game, and he caught a pass, and it was a first down. He sat there, got down on one knee, and was sitting there, boom, didn't even get the ball into the ref, and he did that for a good 5 seconds. I don't even know if they went on to win that game. I don't think they did. I think the Steelers lost that game. I could be wrong. I really could be. I don't. That was a little bit.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a little bit ago.
You're getting the Sonny Clark syndrome. I can't remember. See, man, I can't remember stuff.
But you gotta think about it. The two brothers that are in the same division, the St. Brown brothers. Now, obviously, Amon-Ra is better than man, I can't even say his name. Can we just say the other St. Brown brother here, because I cannot
St. Brown plays for the Lions. Listen, that guy's a stud.
Yeah, Amon-Ra.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, no. Well, Amon-Ra, I was talking about Amon-Ra, right? And his brother, Equanimous. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. He's a Chicago Bear.
St. Brown.
Yeah, he's not terrible. I could see him maybe getting up.
See, but that's what we're talking about. When you bring a DJ Moore in, there's going to be more focus at the DJ Moore level, which in turn makes opportunities for whether it's Scott Jones, Mooney, Claypool, St. Brown, or Pitts, whatever the case may be. When you draw the attention that a DJ Moore is, it's going to open up. And who are the guys going to be able to step up for the Chicago Bears to put them into position to win, or at least make the playoffs out of this division? Because this division has changed. Without Aaron Rodgers as the guy in Green Bay, it opens up the floodgate. Now, that also being said, let's see here, but it's July 2nd. So I'm just going to say this part of it is that Jordan Love, I think, I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying but this guy, when he did play, actually played and played very well. Now, the consistency on what he can do, what he's about ready to go into, which is a 17-game season, whether or not he can hack it and do it on a consistent level, that's going to be what's tested. That's the reason why we're talking about the Bears maybe making a play for the playoffs or winning the division, depending on what happens in Minnesota. I think the Delvin Cook loss in Minnesota is going to be bigger than what most people think, because guess what? You already had to worry about Jefferson on the outside, okay? But if you forgot about Brandon Cook, they burned you that way. The fact they don't have the Brandon Cook anymore tells a lot about where Minnesota is. They're a one-dimensional football team offensively. They don't have the outlet that they would have had with the Delvin Cook. So I think that makes it, pretty much, I don't want to say easy for defensive coordinators, but it kind of makes it a lot easier if you don't have to worry about a Delvin Cook. And you just got to figure out how you're going to prevent Jefferson from getting 200 yards instead of maybe 150 or 175 that he's going to get, but that also depends on whether or not Kirk Cousins will remain healthy. This guy's been healthy for 4 years, so you better hope that he can continue that, especially when you got a guy like Jefferson on the outside of that. That's going to make that offense going to be big. So it'll be really interesting to see how the NFC North works out.
Yeah, and again with the loss of Adam Thielen as well. Now
that too, big loss. I think you're right. That's a big loss.
I get it. You got to get rid of some players, right? I mean, with cap cuts, right? Everyone, if you're an NFL franchise, you know that you're eventually going to have to make what I'm going to call cap casualties, right?
Yep.
You're going to have to get rid of some cap space. You're going to have to gain some cap space. So with what they have is Justin Jefferson. They have, oh gosh, they got. Okay, I was thinking of the Ravens there. They got Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne, and that's other than that, I don't know who else they have. Now, KJ Osborne, I personally think be a solid number 2 or number 3, wherever they want.
KJ Osborne and Brandon Powell. Brandon Powell has the abilities to be a number 3, a good number 3, maybe a number 2 if Jordan Addison doesn't take it over.
Right, and I mean, I genuinely think Jordan Addison will take over, and I think Jordan Addison will be a good wide receiver 2 or 3, just based off of his draft stock and everything. But
draft stock and the fact that everybody's going to have their attention on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and that's going to open up a lot of doors for Jordan Addison. But here's the thing with the Bears. Again, if Justin Fields can perform, then they're going to be good. If he cannot perform, you might as well just go ahead and count them out of winning the division again. And I think that's kind of what you got to do there. I mean, not unless they try and start PJ Walker, but
they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But as far as Bears are concerned, they've got to stop Justin Field from running the football so much. If he's going to average 125, 150 yards a game, they're not going to win football games. And that's only proven because guess what? That's all he did last year. And how many games did they win with him running the football so much? So NFL football teams hope Justin Field decides that he's going to continue running for 150 yards because they're not going to win any football games unless they figure out what they're going to do in order outside of Justin Fields running the football to win football games. And if they depend upon Justin Fields to run the football games and win, that's only been proven that it's not going to work. So they're going to have to do something, with the additions and things that they've added on. They're not like great players, but they're good players. Whether or not they'll step up to become that great player is what the Bears are kind of hoping. Plus, they did pretty good in the draft, I think, as well.
Yeah, for sure. But again, who I think is going to make the playoffs in that division, it'll be the Lions. The Lions, they've kind of been waiting for it. The Lions, they've been in the rebuilding stage. This is the year that they make it. Everyone was, kind of coming into this season, man, no, they're not going to make it. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to make any noise.
And then that happened. And so you got Jared Goff becoming the guy that he was in Los Angeles that took him to the Super Bowl, didn't win, blah, 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 playoff. So now he's coming back to terms to that guy. And if the Lions can get that guy that got the Rams to the Super Bowl, then they got a pretty good chance just to make the playoffs. Listen, if the Lions make the playoffs, you're looking at a team that has turned it around within 2 years. And listen, you can't ask very much on that, even on the trade to get rid of Matthew Stafford. Your generational quarterback, and then you got Jared Goff going in being just as good, if not better, in reality than Matthew Stafford as a Lion. I won't say that as a Ram because his first year as a Ram, guy was magnificent. You can't question it. Win Super Bowl, it is what it is. But the long run term, that was a great move for the Lions, especially with the production that they're getting from Jared Goff.
Yeah, and you brought this up. Not everyone remembers Jared Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Which, man, I'm gonna become really biased here. They really shouldn't have made that one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. You Homer Saint fan, you.
It's been like 5 or 6 years, and I'm still waiting for that flag to come out. Passing, it hasn't happened yet. It haunts me in my dreams. I go to sleep.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, it haunts me. But
well, 2 years, 2 years, 2 flags. I'm telling you right now, the Saint fans are going like crazy, and then they lose Sean Payton. So there you go.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. You know, I'd like to see the Broncos turn around. And
I do too. I think they do.
I think they do too. But you mentioned this, about the Broncos making the playoffs. Sean Payton is gonna turn that football team around. But year one, they're not making the playoffs. Here's my reasoning why, and here's why the Raiders. I'll give you the reason why the teams in the AFC West will make the playoffs and why they will not. Okay, so Chiefs, every year that they have Patrick Mahomes, they're a playoff lock. Unless, which is something that we saw this year that we haven't really seen out of Mahomes, injury, that ankle. Mm-hmm. We haven't, besides this year, how many times have you heard Patrick Mahomes is injured, Patrick Mahomes is hurt? You don't hear that. And that is something scary for Chiefs fans. If he really hurts his ankle, who do they have to go with? They don't have anyone to go with. Here, I can actually check right now. Who are the Kansas City Chiefs going to go with if Patrick Mahomes goes down? Well,
who's the backup? They just signed somebody, and
they have either Blaine Gabbert.
That's who they signed.
Or some guy named Chris with a nice hairline.
Now Gabbert is that traditional backup quarterback, that gives you experience in times unlike in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton can't do it, but a Blaine Gabbert is done. And that the experience factor alone is the reason why, more so than what he has actually proven out on the football field in reality. So Blaine Gabbert is a career backup. He started a couple of years in Jacksonville. I like the guy, but he's never been a real starter. But to come in and fill in case Mahomes goes down, you got the experience, and he's won football games as a starter. So yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, and okay, that's the only reason the Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs. The other team that might or might not make the playoffs, and this is going to be interesting for Broncos fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Brandon Staley going to hold the Chargers back again? Do I necessarily think that it's the Chargers, the team at this point? At this point, it very well could be. I'm going to say the percentage of the mistakes, about 20% is the team. The other 80% is the coaching. Brandon Staley needs to get out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the main question. Will Justin Herbert perform? Is Keenan Allen still going to have what he's had over the past couple years? And here's the
without getting hurt.
Yes. Here's the thing. They also have Mike Williams. Mike Williams was nothing until maybe 2 years ago. Nothing at all. And he wasn't known at all. But, is he going to be that guy? We don't know. Now, with the Chargers, they also signed Quentin Johnson.
Yes.
Where this is where it gets interesting. And I think this was a very smart move. Once the Chargers go up against teams with elite corners, well, you have Mike Williams and you have Keenan Allen, which have elite route running. But what do most corners have that guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams do not have much of, and that is speed. You can run a simple out route, get the defender to act like you're going in, but if a defender is running faster than the receiver, that defender could easily catch up, go like get the pick with the catch up, or get a deflection. The defender could very well catch up, get to the not to the quarterback, to the receiver, and it could be a pick, it could be an incompletion. And with Quentin Johnston, right, he's not as much a route runner, which I think he does have some potential there. But he has a lot of speed, and that is what the Chargers needed at receiver. They needed speed. That's what they got in Quentin Johnston. Again, the way they're going to miss the playoffs, Brandon Staley,
Right.
or, an injury from Justin Herbert, or a wide receiver injury, and this is kind of interesting. Their defense, they had J.C. Jackson until he got hurt because of turf. That's
Right.
what the NFL has to get rid of. They have to get rid of turf. They got to start playing on actual grass fields, because J.C. Jackson got injured and he was playing pretty solid, right? I mean, he was playing pretty solid, but he tore his ACL because of what the turf because of the turf field. He went up the ball and he tried to dig his foot into the ground and he tore his ACL. Is that why Kyler Murray tore all of the CLs in his leg? I can't
Yes.
even go. I mean, whenever he simply slid for a first down. I don't even know if he got the first.
He didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't even get the first. What a accomplishment. Tearing your ACL, trying to get a first, and can't even get the first down. But the Chargers could very well, they have a very great defense. But here's my thing. Is Khalil Mack going to have one more good season? Or is he just kind of going to be your player that's maybe going to get you a couple sacks and that's it? Because that's what you got to ask yourself there. Khalil Mack, he's getting older. I don't think people understand how old he is. What is he now? 35? 34?
Something like that.
And for a linebacker, the only other guy that's probably around that age that I can think of off the top of my head is Bobby Wagner. Now, is Bobby Wagner putting up great numbers still? Would I say great? No.
That's a good point. That's a huge point.
I would say solid. I would say solid numbers from a guy of his age. Is Khalil Mack going to do that? No idea. Is Joey Bosa going to have to carry the load? Is, the secondary going to have to carry the load? Which they very well could, with Derwin James and whoever they have at free safety, because Nasir Adderley retired early this offseason at the young age of 27, which probably one of the earliest retirements I've ever seen, earlier than Andrew Luck we're talking about. And Andrew Luck, we got to talk. I'm going to talk about this for a brief moment. If Andrew Luck continued playing, he would have hurt himself because of the offensive line. It would have been, and that's one of the reasons why he left. But he could have been a great quarterback behind a good offensive line.
You would think.
This is going to sound very odd, but if you had an offensive line like the Cowboys, from the past couple seasons, I think we can all agree on this. The Cowboys, the last couple seasons, have had an amazing offensive line. Now, gosh, dude, I can't think of his name. But Zach Martin. Is Zach Martin still going to be able to play well? Which offensive linemen can play can play good well into their 30s. Well into their 30s. We see it with Jason Kelsey. We see it with Lane Johnson. And Tyron Smith as well.
Tyron Smith's an injury bug right now, so yeah.
He is an injury bug, but then they got Tyler Smith last year, so I think he could be solid. But if Andrew Luck had an offensive line like that, he could have played well, maybe even into his 40s if he wished. Could have made
Fully
a
agree.
whole lot more money, and possibly maybe even could have gotten a Super Bowl. But with the Colts team that he had, he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl, even with a prime
agree.
T.Y. Hilton. Even with a prime T.Y. Hilton. But that's one thing the Chargers
They didn't do him any favors as far as wide receivers are concerned, because when you were talking T.Y. Hilton as their guy, that's a joke in itself. You compared to number one quarterbacks in the NFL, where did T.Y. Hilton land in that list? It wasn't top 15. That's for damn sure.
Right. Now, the Chargers have a solid offensive line, but they have one guy that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's excuse me. That's Corey Linsley. And Corey Linsley, he's a good center, but he's getting old. What is he now? 33? He could
Probably around there, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 34. He's gonna have to. The Chargers are gonna have to invest in a good offensive line for Justin Herbert, and they have a good one right now. But how are they going to keep that? Right? I mean, have they paid Justin Herbert yet? I don't think so.
No, they haven't. They're going to though. Next year they'll pay him big bucks. But here's the thing: just as you said, with what they got at the wide receivers, as far as the Chargers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, nice number 1, 2, 3 or 1-2 punch. When you add Quentin Johnston, he almost becomes your number one because of his age, because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams getting there up there in the age to where you got a guy with what he did in college stands out. They went after him with their number one pick. So, they saw, and I think they see the age of both of those guys. They got 2-3 years to do something with them. They better get something to replace them as soon as they get hurt next time. Listen, Keenan Allen's one knee injury from being done in his career. Mike Williams could get a knee injury, but he'll come back next year. So what they did is they reloaded with a Quentin Johnston at the wide receiver position, and if all three of them can stay healthy, that is the reason why you're going to see the Chargers take that step. If they lose Keenan Allen, if they lose Mike Williams, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. Remember, they play in the AFC West, where you do have the Broncos, you do have the Chiefs in there, and let's not forget the Raiders. If Jimmy Garoppolo can get healthy enough, that's going to be a tough out as well. So you got 6 games with your own division that you are going to have to play balls to the wall to win each and every game. So they're going to need the 1, 2, 3 punch for as long as it can be out there. But, they always say you can't predict injuries, so you shouldn't do that. Listen, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, one of them are going to get hurt. Listen, I'd be in Vegas. I have $50 bill. Will one of these two get hurt? And I'm throwing my money. I'm going to throw a 50 on the bet. Okay. So, because those guys are just the way they are. And right now, I think the next one now, Keenan Allen's been healthy for 2 years. Guess what? That's too long. He's next. So, yeah. But Herbert needs to be able to depend on somebody besides the wide receiver, and Everett at the tight end is going to have to step up this year, I think, in order for them to be that good in that division, because you still got to get past the Broncos. You still got to get past the Chiefs. Now, if you want to write off the Raiders, you can go ahead and do so. I still think you got to worry about the Raiders, depending on who they're going to get at the quarterback. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes, I think they're going to be just fine. You're going to have to beat them. That's a tough division of football.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard a couple of rumors or two. Because Jimmy failed his physical. If Jimmy G,
yep, I heard that too.
I've heard rumors that he might even get cut already.
I've heard the rumors too, but if you're the Raiders, you're not cutting them. I'm going to tell you the reason why. The reason why this is a problem is because it's a 6 to 8 week problem. All right. We already seen what happened in San Francisco last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As far as quarterbacks, part of Jimmy Garoppolo. Quarterbacks get hurt. So if they do the situation, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a Raider this year. Whether or not he starts at the beginning of the season is going to be the biggest question. And I don't think they cut Jimmy Garoppolo, regardless of all the rumors that they will, because Garoppolo has been on the conversation of getting cut for the last 5 years of his career, and it didn't happen. All right, so this year he just went ahead and exercised free agency more so than getting cut coming out of San Francisco. So I listen, you can't cut a Jimmy Garoppolo, this year, because first of all, he's not going to make as much money as he used to make, and second of all, he's a great second option with experience, playoff wins, things of that sort. Raiders stay with him, and they're going to hope for the first 8 weeks that they can get him back and let the run go into the end of the season, which is where you need it in reality, as long as you don't blow the first part of the season right out of the water, starting 2-6 and 1-7 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, for sure. But you gotta think that team. Are the receivers gonna be good enough? Now I'm not gonna.
Good point.
No, you can't. Doubt. You can't doubt Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is always going to be a good wide receiver. Until he hits maybe 35 years old, he is going to be a top 10 minimum receiver.
Well, he's the second best he's the second best wide receiver in this league, if not number one. That's arguably
right.
So, but at the same time, he's only that way unless someone's going to throw him the football. He can sit there and talk about whether or not Aaron Rodgers was the reason of his success and say it wasn't. And I'm sitting here saying, well, he needs to hype himself up somehow because it was because of Aaron Rodgers. Because when they signed him, I remember I was on this show when they signed him to the biggest contract that the Packers ever paid a wide receiver. I said that was crazy. Well, guess what? I was wrong. This guy's worth every penny. Here's what needs to happen, like you said. Hunter Renfrow needs to step up and become that step up number 2 wide receiver. Not just a number 2, but a step up, meaning that, yeah, you're going to double down Devontae Adams. That's fine. But you better have someone good on Hunter Renfrow. That guy's got to step it up, whether it's Myers, or Carter, or Tucker. If they can get one of those 3 dudes to step up, and make you have to worry about them, the Raiders are the hard out too.
Right, and here's one thing you can't forget about. The Raiders defense, right? You have Max Crosby. Who else do you have? You got Max Crosby. You got... Dang, is that the only, notable name on that defense? Here, I can check.
Well, no, they're young. See, that's the deal. That's the good thing about the Raiders. On the defensive side of the ball, they're young. They're young. Yes, Max Crosby. They're gonna go ahead and depend upon him to make the plays. There's no question. That guy is a stud. He's always been a stud. It's but the good thing about him being the stud is he's experienced. And when you have the experience with you, with a Max Crosby, you can look at they play a 4-3 defense, if I'm not mistaken. And whether it's here it is, you got Max Crosby on one side, okay, you got Duke Shelley on the other, is in the backfield. I love Duke Shelley, what he can bring, but really it's Chandler Jones, the former Arizona Cardinal that they picked up. They're expecting some big stuff from Chandler as well as Max Crosby. You got a double deal coming at you on both sides, and if they maintain the middle, they're going to get the quarterback. So, and Chandler Jones, he's still young enough to be a great big superstar, even with the Raiders.
And you got to think, though, even with, Chandler Jones is what, maybe 33, 34?
I think he's actually younger than that. Let's find out. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, he's 33. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, but here's the thing. Are they eventually gonna let Chandler Jones walk? Because right
Depends on how
now,
much they're going to have to pay him.
well, that's not the only thing. They have a young Tyree Wilson behind him right now.
Well, that's
But-
true.
But let me tell you why they don't get rid of him yet. Because right now, Tyree Wilson is questionable. Right now, I think he's dealing with some sort of injury. I can actually check. But they're gonna eventually let him go. And Tyree Wilson will take over that spot, as we saw. I mean, they picked him up in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did.
I thought it was early second, or late second, but still draft quality. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, here I can check. Oh no! He was pick 7. He was pick 7 in the first. But
There you go.
yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can find anything about injury. Yep. Okay. No, but another thing.
Well, I don't know what you're looking at, but if it says questionable, you remember they're in training camp, so they exaggerate anything that's going on. Because they can, more so than if it's a game. He's probably probable for the game more so than questionable. So it's usually kind of the way that kind of thing works.
Yeah, he planted to push off of a pass rush, and then he injured his foot, and he was carted off the training camp field. So that's
cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. But here's something that I don't feel people talk about, which, people don't talk about this really in general, but people don't talk about this about the Raiders either.
Right.
They have one of the better special teams units in the league. Your kicker's Daniel Carlson, and your puncher's AJ Cole. Why does this matter at all? It really doesn't, but if you have a good special teams unit, if your offense can't get going, then you can, if you're on the other side of the field, AJ Cole's going to punt that ball. You might even get it inside, the 10-yard line. Give your defense,
yes.
Maybe get them a safety or get good ball position. And then Daniel Carlson can kick from 50 plus, I think. And that's going to be good for them. Which you would love. If you can't get a touchdown here, you're going for a field goal. Or at least if you're in field goal range, you're going to bring your kicker out. You're going to say, "Go kick that."
Yep.
Now, the problem with Jimmy Garoppolo is they have 4 quarterbacks. One being Jimmy Garoppolo, second being Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer is washed up, but great backup quarterback.
Third, Aiden O'Connell. Who? Fourth,
I know
Chase
who he is,
Gabbard.
but he's in
Yeah, they. You know what? I changed my mind from earlier in the show. Panthers do not sign Trevor Siemian or Nick Foles. Raiders, you better do that. You better do that before the Panthers do. Or you know what? Okay, this might sound crazy. Do they sign a washed-up Matt Ryan, or think about this, Teddy Bridgewater? I personally think Teddy Bridgewater is This might sound crazy because I might be forgetting about a backup quarterback right now, but I think Teddy Bridgewater is the best backup quarterback you can have in the NFL right now.
Well, let's see here. The best backup. It's amazing you thought of something like that, and I had it ready. I don't know. There's that number 2 Andy Dalton everybody loves as a backup quarterback. Wonderful. Hey, and that's exactly where he should be. Backup quarterback. Yeah, I have no problems with Andy Dalton being a backup quarterback in the NFL. But look at these names as far as the best that are out there. And these are the best. Jared Stidham, Mitchell. Listen to these names. These guys are not starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Even Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, because they got the young cat coming off the injury, and Brock Purdy, who's listen. I'm going to tell you right now, San Francisco better keep both Trey Lance and Sam Darnold, because listen, I love what Purdy did last year, but guess what? He's a rookie. Mr. Irrelevant. He's got film. Guess what? He's going to take a step backward more so than forward this next season, even if he gets healthy enough to play. Why? Because defensive coordinators know who he is now. Outside of that, there is not a starting quarterback as a backup out of the best backup, at least according to this list, and that's CBS, by the way, that came up with this list. I wouldn't start any of them. And the ones that I would take as the backup on that, it would be, there's really only two that I would want if I had to do it. Number one, it would be Marcus Mariota, and I would go as the backup, obviously not a starter, Tyler Heineke, because I don't like any of them as starter. Anybody on this list should not start in the NFL. But backup in case of emergency, I guess you can go to any of them that you want to. But, yeah, it was interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up because I had that. The backup position this year is going to be very thin, I think, in reality. So you better protect your quarterback without question.
Oh yeah, but here's what I find interesting, Sonny. Okay, I believe in Taylor Heineke, so I'm not going to question you with Taylor. I'm not going to question you with Taylor Heineke. But Marcus Mariota, Sonny.
I know why I like him, and it's the reason why everybody dislikes him. So that I realize he falls in the same category as when Peyton Manning came out, and the guy he was going up against, Ryan Leaf. I went Ryan Leaf because of attitude. And listen, Marcus Mariota can be a pain in the ass, but he's got NFL experience big time. When he did a lot of starting over in Tennessee, at least he's got the experience and played in games that matter. I think that's what makes your backup quarterback. Unlike a Tyler Heineke, when he played, there wasn't really any reason for him to play. They weren't playing for anything, whether he was with Jacksonville or with Washington.
Yeah, but I mean that's a valid reason. I'll give you that. That's a valid reason. But how he played last season?
Oh, he stunk.
He was bad. If you
he was bad.
This season, right? Well, not this season. Sorry, I keep saying this season, like it's still the 22-23 season. 22-23 season. Week 1, Falcons versus Saints. I was really thinking my Saints were gonna blow these bums out of the water, and clearly that's not what happened. But we came back and won that game. I don't know. I think at one point we might have been down like 24. No, we were down by a good amount of points though, and we came back and won that. Is that all because of Marcus Mariota? Is it? Maybe, maybe not. But he.
It's a good portion of it.
Yeah, a good portion of it, because after a while, that offense just couldn't put up any more points on the board. And
exactly.
You can put it on the defense too, because if the defense isn't getting stops, well then, even if the offense does put up more points on the board, it's still going to be hard. But nonetheless, he would have had to put up more points in that game, and his Falcons, well, do I even say his Falcons anymore? Do I dare say his Falcons anymore?
Hey, listen, go back to this list, and you made mention of it, okay? I don't know if it was you or if it was Trey, but I think it was you. Matt Ryan, not on this list. Matt Ryan would be a great back. He'd probably be the best backup on this list because of that experience. I mean, he did, believe it or not, he was in the Super Bowl. Believe it or not, they should have won. But really, he's been on the Super Bowl hangover forever. But listen, when I look at this list and I see guys like Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky, hell, I'm gonna go that route. I'm not gonna take those guys. I'm just not. Now, interestingly enough, there is one notable name that is missing from this list. And you should know it better than most. I'm telling you right now, Taysom Hill not being one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, he's better than those guys. I'm telling you right now, he's better than those guys on this list. And it's because of the dynamic that he brings. He might not be the best quarterback, but he brings a different dynamic than most of these guys that are on this list. And he's better than most of them, at least in my opinion. Not to just blow smoke up your guy's butt, but I think he's a guy that can play any type of game at the quarterback position when it's needed. If he has to run, obviously he can run. If he has to throw, I think he can throw. Just when they had him in the game, they didn't need him to throw. I just think he can.
Right. I mean, Taysom isn't bad throwing the ball, but he's not exactly who you want throwing the ball.
No, he's just one of those firecrackers. Guys that you don't see every time, and he can bring something different almost every time he touches the ball. It's weird.
I mean, he can catch the ball too. That's nothing like. I mean, he can't.
That's true, yeah, because he's a tight end, right? Yeah. So.
We have him listed as a tight end, but sometimes he goes to receiver. I don't know why we just don't go ahead and say line up in a single back formation, put him at running back, and let him run.
I know why. I know why. You want to know why? He's willing to do any of it to play the game of football. Unlike most players, and some players who say, "Listen, I'm a quarterback," and I'm not ragging against Jackson in Baltimore, but this is a guy that wants to play NFL football, and just for that reason alone. I love me from some Taysom Hill. You want to know why? He'll play wherever you want him to play as long as he can play in the NFL. He's that much. He's coachable, and I'm always open to a guy that can be coachable. More so, a guy that's closed off and says, "No, I'm a quarterback." No disrespect from Watts or from Jackson. You know, he just didn't want to do it. They were saying, "Hey, you can be a good wide receiver." He says, "I'm not a wide receiver. I'm a quarterback." Well, granted, but you're lucky to be able to be that guy, because there are some guys like a Taysom Hill that their chances of being on an NFL football team are not there unless they do make that step to be a tight end, or a quarterback, or for all that matters, wide receiver, whatever the case may be. That's why Taysom Hill, to me, is a likable dude, coachable dude. He'll do whatever they want you to do because he plays on an NFL franchise. That's why I like the guy.
Yeah, I genuinely believe in Taysom Hill. I mean, I have his jersey. Really, Taysom, he's a good player, but is he really considered a starter in every situation?
Nope.
No.
But he's the best backup. But I think he's probably one of the best backups in the.
You're right.
Listen, look at this list. Do you think Taysom Hill's any better than most of these guys on this list?
Here, I'm gonna go through. Trey Lance, right now, no. Sam Darnold, no. Dalton, no. Huntley's a different story. Okay. Huntley, I like who he is. Really. He's more of a dual threat quarterback, kinda.
Yeah, because he can't throw the ball.
I mean, but really, Trey Lance can run the ball, but he hasn't even proven that he can do anything yet in the NFL.
Yeah, he can't stay out on the football field for more than one game.
Sam Darnold can kinda throw the football.
Yeah.
Can he run? No. Can Andy Dalton run? No. Can he throw into windows without throwing picks and giving the Cardinals their only home win? I mean,
that one didn't hurt, did it?
Yeah, that definitely. I'm gonna have to go cry in a corner after this. Let's see. Yeah, Tyler Huntley. I can't take Tyler Huntley over Tyler Huntley. Jacoby Brissett. Okay, here's the thing about Jacoby Brissett. He's a good backup, but whenever I saw him play one game in Miami, it was not a great game, Sonny. So that was not.
I agree. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is a good. He's not a starter, and I don't think he's a great backup either. He's just. You know what he is? He's a jag, just a guy. That's what this list is full of. Just guys. They're just a guy, and there's nothing special about them. Unless you think that, Gardner Minshew running around like a chicken without a head and it's kind of exciting, great. But as far as full talent and can play a position, I think I'm taking Taysom Hill almost over every single one of these guys on this list.
Okay, you're probably gonna call me crazy, and people might say, "Oh, well, this is biased because he's on the Saints," but you can't count out Jameis Winston. Now, hear me out before I get all this hate. So, Jameis Winston.
Well, hold on. Before you go forward, I want you to say it again. Just say that again.
So before I get any hate or get called biased here, Jameis Winston is. He might have thrown 30 picks in a season, and that might have really messed up his completion percentage. But he had Okay. Think about this, right?
Okay.
What season did he throw 30 picks? Was it 2019?
It was the last year he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think it was 2019.
Okay, so
it might have been 2020 because let's see, it was the year before Tom Brady went over there. Brady was there for 2 years, so yeah, I guess it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, but like he was in 2019. If you heard 30 picks, you would think what? You would think, why would I want him? You would say, no, I don't want him.
Uh-huh.
But
I hear a butt coming.
Whenever you hear 5,109 yards with 33 touchdowns, 71-yard bomb, averaging 8.2 yards of play, 600. He completed about 50% of his attempts. When you hear those numbers, the 30 picks does not matter. I'm sorry.
That was terrible. Crazy knuckleheaded terrible.
No. That's not true, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Everybody knew what the situation was, okay? He was given the opportunity to be the starting quarterback because everybody knew where Tom Brady was going at that time. So, and the head coach, their record was so bad, he didn't care what was going on. So instead of bringing this kid up to try to make him better, he let him do what he wanted. And when it came to what he wanted, he threw the ball down the field. This guy's accuracy in the deep ball is not just awful, it's god awful. And especially that year. I mean, you know what? This is what it comes to as far as Jameis Winston. I might be too simple. So I'll just say this. When you throw 31 picks in the season, you're not a good quarterback. Period. You can throw for 7,000 yards. But when you're throwing it, and not only that, when you're throwing for 5,000 yards and not winning football games, it's like Justin Fields running for 160 yards a game and not winning. Okay? There's something that's not getting them up over the hump. Okay? There's something that is not completing the package of what Jameis Winston could be. Okay? Now, this guy, he is plagued with a lot of off-the-field problems which come into play. The reason why he hasn't left the Saints is because no one's going to pay him the money the Saints are willing to throw away for the guy. So, more so, you cannot be considered a good quarterback if you throw 32 interceptions. You just can't. It's like What's that? You're in school. You take this test. What doesn't fit in this synopsis? And it's interceptions. You're not a good quarterback. You're a running quarterback. You get 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can't win football games. Why? Because there's too much dependence on whatever it is that doesn't make them good enough to be a playoff team or winning football team. Hell, if the Bears won, if the damn Bears won 9 football games last year, we would be talking about how great. Oh, well, okay. Let me rephrase this. I would be talking about how great Justin Fields might be, but they won 3 football games last year, despite him. So and it's the same thing with Jameis Winston.
Now, here's my thing, Sonny. Right? Okay, you brought up a very valid point, and I cannot. You hear 30 picks, I really think that's not good.
30 picks.
It's not good. It's not good, Sonny. It's not good, Sonny.
He's not even a quarterback. Come on,
but Sonny, you gotta hear me out.
Okay.
If the Falcons didn't win their last 4 games, and if the Bucks didn't lose their last 2 games of the 2019-2020 season, well then it would be Saints at number 1 at 13-3. Hang on. I gotta. Thank you. That was like the last season we were good. That was like the last season we were good. No, that was actually 2021 when we were like 20-21 season, whatever 12-4, whatever.
Sure, got it.
The Bucks could have been. Hang on, I got to think about this.
He's going to try to figure out what games they would have been able to win by throwing 4 or 5 picks in the game. Which one?
9-7. They could have, if they didn't lose their last 2 games, they could have been 9-7 and had a chance of a wild card spot.
Uh-huh.
Like,
I don't think so, Tim.
But it's 30 picks, Sonny. With 30 picks, you still get 7 wins. And okay. Now hear me out here. They had 5 wins without home field advantage.
Okay.
I mean, all I'm saying is Jameis.
Hold on. All right. In that theory, I get what you're saying. Name me the teams they won.
Okay. Here.
And this is just a thought I'm having. So who were the teams that they beat? And I know 2 of them were good football teams, so I get it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me make sure I'm not going into preseason. Okay, here we are. Okay. So they lost to the Niners 31-17.
Yeah, which ones did they win? Which
20-14 they win against the Panthers.
Okay.
I'm going to include this just because of how close it was, but they lost 32-31 to the Giants. That was a bad Giants team, though.
That was a bad Panther team, too, just in case you didn't know.
55-40 against the Rams. That was quite the game. They beat the Cardinals 30-27. They beat your Jags 28-11.
I'm only interested in the games they won. So they beat the Jags, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even gonna go off the score. I'm just gonna start again, and I'm just gonna tell you.
Start with the teams they won. They beat.
Okay. Panthers, Rams. Geez, they were on a big losing streak. Cardinals, Jags, Falcons, Colts, Lions. Yeah.
You get my point. You get my point.
Okay.
They were lucky to win those. They were lucky to win those games.
They went into overtime against Russell Wilson. All right, they went into overtime against Russell Wilson. I don't care what anyone says. That is an accomplishment.
That's a W. That's a win, right? E for effort, baby. E for effort. Yeah. Oh Lord! But Jamie, come on. Listen,
Jameis.
Jameis, I'm just gonna say it, and I know as soon as he hears it, I'm gonna hear from Bryce from Brooklyn. So I'm just gonna say it. Jameis Winston has never been a good quarterback. And guess what? Jameis Winston will never be good in the NFL for the rest of his career. This guy was lucky to get an NFL job in the first place. He was average at best. He was overhyped. Yeah, I said it, Bryce. Yeah, I said it. He was overhyped coming out of Florida State, and he was never a good NFL football. Now, that being said, he got paid, so congratulations. But that don't mean that you're good. That don't mean that you're worthy of being spoken about being one of the better quarterbacks ever. This guy is one of the worst quarterbacks to play the position. So you just got to kind of put it. It's just like, listen, and Tom McManus, I hope doesn't really, we're kind of tight, me and McManus, we're kind of tight. And we talk a lot of things off air. But as much as I love Mark Brunell, but Mark Brunell wasn't a very good quarterback. I mean, and listen, he played when they were good. They went to great, but he wasn't a great quarterback. But I'm not saying that he wasn't a good quarterback. And that's where people get lost in their love of players, or where they can't admit that their guy wasn't great. But it's almost like saying LeBron James is the seventh best basketball player in NBA history, and they think you're disrespecting him. I don't know. The last time I thought, maybe I'm thinking differently. When you think he's the seventh best basketball player to ever, that's not good. That's great. How are you disrespecting him, making him number 7? Oh, you got to respect him to make him the number 1. Well, you're never going to convince me that he's going to be better than Jordan, or for all that matters, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and guys that played this game, Larry Bird. He might be at Larry Bird's level. But am I disrespecting those names that come after that? No. Why would I disrespect him at being number 7? It's more in the fact of how much love that you're going to put into your guy, instead of being, instead as what Randy Galloway says, watch the damn game. They're good or they're bad, or they're bad, they're good or great. It is as simple as that. And you don't get a lot of great from guys who haven't proved it for a long period of time. Listen, it's Kurt Warner. A classic example of a guy that went from bad to great is Kurt Warner. They don't happen all the time. So you gotta respect what they actually can do as quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks, because obviously there's so much around what a quarterback is and what a quarterback isn't by his abilities. And they grade them on how long they're good. So it's one of those things. But it's okay to be number 7 in NBA history and still be great and not disrespected. But that's what a lot of people think about LeBron, at least LeBron James anyway.
Right. Now, as we were saying, he was Jameis wasn't ever great, but
never.
There was one season where he was going in a good direction. That was 2021. He played 7 games before. Now, okay, I will be honest, and this is one reason why he's not a great quarterback.
Okay.
Injury. Now, wait. Before we say anything, Devin White, I want to punch you in the face. I literally, no, I don't even want to just do that. I want to punch him in the face find some random like metal pipe and beam him in his head with it. Because Jameis had something good going, not only in 2020, but in 2021 as well. But of course, Devin White had to play too rough. So yeah, screw you, Devin White.
Okay. Right.
I hope you have to suffer on the Buccaneers. So basically, in 2021, he played 7 games. Out of 161 attempts, he completed 95 passes. Not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not great either.
Mm-hmm.
He had over 1,000 yards. He was going for 1,200. He was like 30 away from 1,200 yards. And that's
I get it.
7 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I get it. And let me just say, I agree with you.
He was averaging almost 7.5 yards a play. 7.3. He had a 72-yard bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is different. Only 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
With 14 touchdowns.
Before what?
Before getting injured.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sonny,
he did this at the beginning of the season.
Sonny,
where everybody's still figuring out who everybody is on a football team. I'm telling you, as soon as you get to week 8 of your season, you don't know what football team you are until then and how you finish out the season. Listen, I get what you're saying, and I even agree with you. I'm tired of arguing with people, so I'll go ahead and agree with you. He had a great first part of the season, great, and I'll even say this. I'll even go to the point where just like last year in Tua, before he got hurt, he could have been considered in the MVP talks, not be the MVP, but look at the numbers. Hey, they look really good. Same thing as Tua in the talks. Obviously didn't win because of the injuries. And listen, and especially if you get injured in the beginning of part of the season. Now, if you get injured in the late part of the season, week 14, 15, I get it. And you see the body of work for 14, 15 weeks. 7 weeks, especially week 1 through 7, is not a body of work. It's how you're managing what's coming at you. And then from 7 or 8 to week 17 or 18 is how you dealt with it and how successful you are. When you have a great part of the season at the beginning of the season, it's almost like being a rookie. Who cares?
Sonny, you gotta understand though, that's when Jameis got injured, it wasn't his fault. Really? No. You cannot tell me that getting hit with the horse collar from here, having your leg go freaking backwards and tearing every single CL in your leg is Jameis Winston's fault. That
No, actually, it was the horse collar's fault. But the problem, it's not the injury. It's not even you can't fall in love with what that guy did within the first 7 weeks because you didn't know what he was gonna do from 7 or week 8 to 18 because of who he is. Sometimes quarterbacks are who they are. Okay. And Jameis Winston is one of those guys. All right. Go back to the year before that. Listen, just because a guy, all right, finds a small piece of gold in a big river doesn't mean that small piece of gold is great, but that's a big river. It would be better if it was a big piece of gold. We're not getting a big piece of gold from who Jameis Winston is. We're getting the little nugget that gives you a little money. And he showed a brief time where he was accurate. He was efficient. But that is not what he does 95% of his career. And what people look at is that 5%. And oh my God, he would have been great. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Didn't finish it out. Now, and I would have been the first to say I was sorry. I was wrong. I would admit I was wrong, but and I also know a lot of guys would say, but I don't look at one portion, or even for that matter, for 1 year and say, oh my God, he's great. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. And I'm looking at the guy who is moving, and he's at the number 3 of rushing yards in NFL history. Okay? I'm talking about Frank Gore. Now, a lot of times I just love to talk Frank Gore just because I think I'm funny. But Frank Gore is an exact reason why he's kind of the Jameis Winston. This guy had 2 years great in his thing, and then the rest of it is mediocre. But since he's number 3, everybody thinks he's great. Well, being number 3 doesn't make you great. Okay, being number 3 means that you played 17 years in the NFL, averaged about 400 or 500 yards a game, or a year, maybe 6, and had about 2 or 3 great years. That's not how I judge greatness. I judge it by a long period of time, not for that nugget, but that big piece of gold, not the nugget. And that's what Jameis Winston is. He's a fly in the pan kind of quarterback. Same thing with Frank Gore. He is a fly in the pan running back that no one worried about except for year number 2, 3, and 4 of his career. And the rest of the 16 years, no one cared about it.
So
greatness goes, in other words, greatness is not just a fly in the pan. Greatness is years and years and years of being good at what you do.
So my question to you is,
okay,
right now, right now, rather have Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston?
Okay, backup quarterback, right? Not Chuck. Well, I would take Andy Dalton.
Now, what about in the starting offense?
Now, that being said, Andy Dalton has thrown a lot of interceptions the last 2 years that he's played. He needs to get that under control. That's almost Jameis Winston-ish. How many interceptions did Andy Dalton have for the last 2 years? It's been a lot.
Gosh, hold on. Hang on. I can check.
Let's find out.
Andy Dalton. Okay, so
he had 9 interceptions.
Total. 18 total.
Yeah. Last 2 years. But look, if you look at 19, 18, okay, and 17, those were regular season where he played a lot. He was the starter in reality. So that being said, since he's the starter, you look at those numbers, but he's got 9 interceptions as a backup quarterback. But I take Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston, just more in the fact that I think he's a better overall quarterback than Jameis Winston in reality. Now, I know a lot of people would disagree with that. A lot of people would. I just don't put a fire in the pan. Hey, listen, Andy Dalton was a good quarterback for many years of his career.
Yeah.
Last 5 of you take away the last 3 to 4 years, as this guy was a quality quarterback. He's making millions of dollars a year. And during those days, before about 2000, before the numbers at the quarterback decided to get crazy numbers, Andy Dalton was on the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the NFL, even though he wasn't successful in the playoffs. The guy had some talent, So, and then think about the team that he was playing on. Thank God he was able to at least get them to the playoffs. And their head coach, Marvin, it's not Marvin Lewis. Whoever their coach was, he should have been fired years and years and years before that. But it is, I think it is Marvin. It might be Marvin Lewis is who it was. But he's got them to the playoffs. Jameis Winston, and I'm asking because I don't know. I don't think Jameis Winston's ever been in a playoff game.
Oh!
Outside of being a starter. I don't think he has ever started a playoff game. I know he's been on, he was the backup with Tom Brady. So, he did that. Well, no, hold it. No, he didn't. They bumped him out, and then the Saints picked him up.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know if he ever has played in there. Oh, I think he might have served in the backup. See, that's interesting. So, that's a good question.
Right now.
Jameis Winston.
Oh, he did. He did. He played in the playoff game. He's 0-1.
So he's played in one game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What
I
season
proving
was
my point.
What season was this? Crap, he was with the Saints. Gosh dang it.
Yeah. One playoff game in his career. Here it is right here. One game. And interestingly enough, it was with the Saints. Yes, there it is.
And it was one pass. But
one pass.
What? You know what? Hey, no.
56 yards though. 56 yards though, right?
I remember the play. I remember the exact play.
Was it at the end of the game when it didn't matter?
No, I don't think it was. It was actually decently like maybe middle of the game or something. But like we put Traquan Smith on a seam up the middle. I'm not even lying. I didn't know James could go that far. He choked up on. Traquan got straight up under that. But you know what? You know what's more surprising than the throw and the actual, it being a decent play from Jameis Winston? You want to know what's even more surprising?
No, because I didn't see it.
The fact that Traquan Smith caught a ball.
Oh, there you go. All right, there you go.
He cannot catch. I'm sorry, but he
Are you okay? Are you still okay about that? I mean, you seem bitter. You crack me up, dude. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. You make me laugh. So, but that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We're up on it. All right, at 3:00. I didn't think we'd make another hours, but Lord knows we start talking Winston. It becomes fun. I love it. So now, for your sake, I hope Jameis Winston, if he does hit the field, for your sake, that he plays decent as a backup quarterback to help his team win until they get who's starting over there. Oh yeah, Derek Carr.
Yeah, so, hopefully.
And he's sure to go down too.
We're hoping that Derek Carr is okay. I mean, but really, like Sonny, you gotta think about this, right?
Okay.
Before Drew Brees, we had no question that we were okay. Now, I kind of wish we didn't have Drew Brees.
Right.
Because of the fact that we potentially could have gotten Patrick Mahomes with draft picks.
Well, so could the Bears.
Sonny.
Sorry, Cuervo. Just
Sonny, I want you to understand something. The Bears, before they got Justin Fields, did not know what a quarterback was. Right.
They took Mitchell Trubisky instead of Patrick Mahomes.
Here's my thing.
And it hurts.
Here's my thing. They've never had a quarterback throw for more than 4,000 passing yards in a season.
Who?
The Bears.
Oh God, I know that. Yeah. Okay.
How long have they been a franchise?
Over 100 years. So that's it. But people didn't start throwing over 4,000 yards until in the mid 90s. So but still, since the mid 90s, they still haven't had anybody to throw. And even in the 80s with the great Jim McMahon threw for 25, 20, 28, maybe 3,200 yards a year. And the punky QB that brought them their Super Bowl. But yeah, it's different day and age. But nowadays, you got to have a guy who is capable of throwing 4,000 yards, so you can have that greatness and not only throw it, but do it on a consistent level. I mean, so.
And I think Justin
and Fields. Drew Brees kind of started that nonsense. He was really, really good, just thrown out of his mind all the time. I got something that you'll like. And before we get out, since I got it, where is it? Right here. Nope, wrong one. Where's the other one?
Hey, it's Alvin Kamara. Let's go.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's the same right here. Michael Thomas, right there, 149 receptions in a year. So
yep.
And that's all because of Drew Brees throwing for 4,000, 5,000 yards, and he's the one that really kind of started doing it on a regular basis. Hell, even Tom Brady didn't throw for 4,000 yards. It's just you just don't do that. And Drew Brees was one of the best. And frankly, I was sad that he retired. I wanted to see one more year to give him an opportunity, see if he could do it. And maybe Michael Thomas would stop acting like, he's majorly injured instead of just being hurt. And then he'd been out in the football field. Listen, we haven't seen the same Michael Thomas since Drew Brees retired. It's just different guy.
And that's sad. That is really
sad.
It is.
It is sad because that guy was a stud. Listen, I'll admit it. The guy's a stud. Listen, you don't catch that many receptions in a year unless you're a stud. But you also have the guy who can deliver the ball. So you had the combination of a good 1-2 punch right there. So with Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, but he hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, and I recently today basically almost lost all respect for Tom Brady because this game here, I'm going to tell you, this game right here that we were just talking about, the 56-yard bomb from Jameis Winston, right? Tom Brady beat Drew Brees. Dang it, man! I can't even talk about this. After the game, right? Tom Brady went and threw Drew Brees' kid some passes, right?
Yes, I remember.
And LaShawn McCoy, which I was still on the team. What? Oh,
Shady got some rings.
Yeah, Shady got some rings, and I'm glad for Shady. But he told this story to where in the back after that, right, like in the locker room, he was on his phone. He was over here screaming, hyping people up. I don't know. He said he was on the phone with someone. He was like, "Yes, I finally beat the forbidden A word that I cannot say." Like he was over here. I finally beat him. Oh yeah, and he was talking like some major.
I remember.
When I found that out this morning, I was like, "You're joking! Like, why? Like,
you complete one pass, but yet you beat Tom Brady, right?"
Like what? Tom Brady just had to go and talk crap about Drew Brees, bro. I'm sorry.
He did.
I'm sorry.
That being said, those guys, those two, they're kind of tight. He probably told him he was going to say that, and it was probably a joking way.
No, I know, but you don't joke about my boy like that. Tom Brady, I'm coming for you, boy. I'm coming for Tom Brady. I'm just kidding.
But anyway, it is what it is. But interestingly enough, Jameis Winston is a career backup quarterback, which is where he should be, and no one should think he's any better. But I know there's a lot of people out there that think he's great. He's not great, never been great, but he made money at the NFL level. Hey, congratulations. By the way, how much did he sign for with the Saints? Was it $4 million?
Might have been I think it was 2.1.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying a backup quarterback in the NFL should be making $5 million. I'm just saying 2.1, 2. Yeah, there you go. That just tells you where they are and how much they think about him in reality. Hey, last case scenario, hey, at least we got Jameis Winston. And guess what? Jameis Winston should be happy that he's making money playing in the NFL.
If you make the NFL, that's an accomplishment in itself. I mean,
I'll give you that. Give you that. There are a lot of players that never should have been there and made a lot of money. But it is what it is.
Johnny Manziel.
Great example. Yeah, great example. So, all right, my man. It's been a wonderful Saturday night with you, as well as today, Sunday.
Yes,
talking
sir.
Sports. At least I'm able to talk to you here. So it is what it is. So but that's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. We're out of here. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.